just to sort of explain what's going on here. So there's an intro cutscene in OOT. And in a lot of speedruns, you might see people skip the intro cutscene in their respective speedruns. But in Ocarina of Time, Bingo specifically, we do not skip the intro cutscene. And the reason for this is to give players 2 minutes and 30 seconds to look at the board. So similar to how in the last season of Elden Ring Bingo Brawlers, there was the prep time to, you know, talk to Kale, buy the things you need, and look at the card. That's what we've got going on here. So this intro cutscene, our players are just mindlessly mashing through text on their controllers, but looking really intently at our 5x5 card here. So why don't we take a look at the goals here? So first of all, just like Elden Ring, let's sort of approach this like we would an Elden Ring board, right? So like, first of all, what's the center square? So defeat Phantom Ganon. Yeah, so that's our center square. That's the boss for Forest Temple. So that is a pretty early dungeon. Like you saw in the sort of video I prepped before this, there is, you know, a lot of sequence breaks. So there's a lot of opportunity to move around. Ocarina of Time is not inherently an open world game like Elden Ring, but because of how many glitches we allow in OOT Bingo, it basically is an open world game. More or less for our players, think about it like this is open world, which is really exciting. But there are a couple of standard things our players will need to do at the beginning here in order to sort of open their game up, including both of our players are probably just going to get the Kokiri sword, which is the sword you get at the very beginning of the game. And then they'll most likely move to get explosives. But the next thing we need to look for, Dom, in Elden Ring Bingo, we look for what are the rush squares.
Right.
So let's find some rush squares. The most rushable square on the board, I think, is row 2, column 1, 2 Skulltulas in Lon Lon Ranch.
Yeah, 100%.
So the Skulltulas, there are 100 gold Skulltulas in the game. And in Lon Lon Ranch, there are 4. But 2 of them don't require any items besides a sword or some damage source. So those 2 Skulltulas can be achieved really quickly. So I'd be interested to see if our players just rush that immediately instead of going for the more standard, like, okay, let me get set up. So similar to Elden Ring Bingo, you know, this might be like in the last season, say, if there were, 2 DLC armor sets or something like that. A square that could be achieved, or 3 larval tiers. A square that could be achieved immediately, but you sacrifice a couple minutes of setup time. And so it's going to be a trade-off of like, okay, if I go for that, I'm not going to be setting up, and then my opponent is going to be ahead on other stuff. Anything else stand out to you, Domo, or any questions about any of the goals? There is some synergy on this board, for what it's worth.
I did see a little bit of Monka dubs for the blue gauntlets, and I remember somebody else talking about blue gauntlets as well. Is that something that's like really difficult to achieve, I guess?
Yes. So in Ocarina of Time, there are only a few gauntlet colors intended. So the basically how it works is there is the Goron bracelet, which is the child strength upgrade that allows you to lift bomb flowers.
Right.
And then there are silver gauntlets as adult. Technically, you get them as child, but they happen as adult, that allow you to move big blocks. And then the gold gauntlets, which allow you to pick up big pillars.
Right.
But using RBA, which is that inventory manipulation glitch I talked about in the intro video, you can actually manipulate your gauntlet color to be other colors. And how you do this is based on what gauntlets you already have. So if you have the silver gauntlets, which are the sort of mid/late game gauntlets, and then you do RBA, you get blue gauntlets.
Interesting.
So yeah, your gauntlet color is based on what you already have. If you have no gauntlets and you do this kind of RBA, you get black gauntlets. This was originally discovered as just like oh, look how cool this looks because it's unintended colors. But it was found out that these gauntlets actually are really powerful. Already we have a route diversion here. So it looks like Nalle is collecting rupees to maybe get the shield. Nalle is just collecting rupees around here to walk into the Kokiri shop maybe to... Okay, interesting. Getting another 5 here instead of just getting the 5 behind the counter. Another thing about... Okay, and leaving. Interesting. Not 100% sure. Maybe Nalle is just having some trouble making decisions. This happens. He's just getting extra maybe for dive game or something. Okay, RunnerGuy is escaping the forest here. So typically you need to beat the Deku Tree to get out of the forest, but RunnerGuy is escaping using Aqua Escape, one of the tricks I showed off. And he is exiting to Zora's River. So the question now is, what is RunnerGuy rushing? It is possible he's going for Silver Scale, but another wrinkle I have to quickly explain is that when you manipulate your inventory with Reverse Bottle Adventure, with RBA, to get these blue gauntlets or to get other things, you can actually permanently lock yourself out of goals because you can delete things you already had in your inventory. For example, I believe when you RBA the pocket Cucco, which is the item you need on... Yeah, a chicken.
Gotcha.
When you RBA the chicken to get the blue gauntlets, you actually delete your dive meter upgrade. So if you already have silver scale and then you RBA pocket Cucco, you will lose your silver scale. So if players choose to go for blue gauntlets before silver scale, they lock themselves, or if they, other way around, if they do silver scale, they are basically saying, I'm not going to do blue gauntlets. So it's sort of a weird trade-off, right? It's almost like doing Defeat Bale before doing Igon's Furled Finger.
Right, you're kind of skipping.
Exactly. You're telling the other player, hey, I'm not doing this. Also, Nalle is going for a really interesting thing you very rarely see here, is defeat a Skull Kid on the board. It is.
It is, yeah. Row 4, column 5 here.
Okay, so defeating a Skull Kid is not typically something you're supposed to be able to do as child. You can do it as adult. The Skull Kids hate you as adult and they try to kill you. Also, RunnerGuy going for 2 Lon Lon Ranch skulls here.
Yeah, so he's going for the rush square, yeah?
Exactly, and this is another rush square that I didn't really think of because this is just not a thing you typically do as child. But if you walk up really slowly behind and use ISG with the Deku stick, you can kill the skull as... oh, you'd need Saria's song. Yeah, that's right, because you need him to not jump away.
Oh, does he not? Yeah. Is he...
He doesn't have the requisite item, so he can't do that right now.
Gotcha.
And that's going to be the first goal, boom, for RunnerGuy. We've got 2 Skulltulas in Lon Lon Ranch marked right away.
I'm going to have to manually do the points, by the way, as we currently don't. For anyone that doesn't know, I got a new PC like a little bit ago, so my whole OBS got wiped of all the previous Bingo Brawlers seasons, so everything's fresh. So I'm going to have to manually enter the points for now, and then hopefully tomorrow I'll have it set up to where it's more automated. So just bear with me if I click stuff in that moment. Yeah, a first square on the board here for RunnerGuy now. On the board, you're going to leave Lon Lon Ranch. Looks like he's going towards
Kakariko? Yeah, he's going towards Kakariko Village, probably to get explosives. The thing that opens OOT up the most is explosives.
Yeah.
And so both of our players will be looking to get explosives pretty early. And the fastest way to get explosives as child is to get them from Bottom of the Well. So Bottom of the Well is a dungeon you typically enter much later in the game. You have to get the Song of Storms, and then you play the Song of Storms to drain the well in Kakariko Village. But you can actually just clip down through the water using a Navi Dive or various other methods in order to get into Bottom of the Well really early. Nalle is doing something called a WES here, a Water Extended Super Slide. You enter and exit water really quickly, and you're able to move very fast.
What is RunnerGuy trying to do here right now? He's kind of like baiting...
So he's waiting for day.
Oh, okay.
So there's a day-night cycle in this game, just like in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Daytime is a couple minutes. Nighttime is like 90 seconds. And he's waiting for day because he wants to get the bottle. As you see, Nalle is collecting the chickens right now in Kakariko Village. RunnerGuy also needs to do this because the bottle is another one of our like key important items. We really, 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 really need a bottle. It unlocks Bottle Adventure. It unlocks cutscene skips. It actually, we will see it be used as an ocarina, which I'll explain later. So the bottle is really important. So RunnerGuy is just waiting for day here and is now going to do Cucco collection. This is really standard bingo. Like the first thing you learn when you start learning OOT bingo is you learn how to get out of the forest and then you learn to collect the Cuccos.
Is it actually called Cuccos, by the way? Or I thought they were Cuccos.
We all say Cuccos. I'm not sure there's like a, there's no voice acting, so I don't know that there's like a standard pronunciation.
Fair.
We say Cucco, but it might be Cucco.
I was just curious. I don't know. I'm just checking. It looks like that Nalle is a little ahead right now on that bottle retrieval here. Question being is, at what point, like square wise, do you just know as a player being like, oh, okay, like I'm pretty much just screwed. Because at some point, you know, compared to like Elden Ring where it's full open world and you can still kind of like stop every single objective, this being a bit of a story-driven game, are there some moments where it's like, oh, they're too far into this section of the game, I can't catch up?
Yes, but there is still that factor, like in Elden Ring, where they could be holding on to something. You know what I mean? Like, they could be holding priority.
Sure.
Like, they might, for instance, you see Minuet of Forest in the bottom left of your card. That is a super easy goal that is right before Phantom Ganon. If I mark Minuet of Forest, you might just be like, oh, well, he's going to beat me to the center square. There's no point. But then I might double bluff that and use it to my advantage and say, okay, I'm going to go do something else and then come back and do Phantom Ganon.
Right.
So just like in Elden Ring, you can hold priority on stuff. But yes, in general, it is a little easier to tell what your opponent is doing in OOT Lockout after, you know, the first half hour or so. And the other important thing, also Nalle's making a couple of just like little execution errors here and there. You should be able to skip this owl text box, missing the West first try earlier. I think just a little nervous here. Some nerves heading into this first match. Understandable. This is a big stage for OOT Bingo. Ocarina of Time Bingo does not typically hit a stage of this size. So I think it's understandable to be a little nervous. Also, both of our players foregoing getting explosives. Nalle's going for something incredible here. Nice. Okay. This is a trick that Nalle just did called Castle Before Night. Oh my god.
And he... oh.
Nearly dropped off the drawbridge twice. Okay, so that drawbridge goes up when it becomes nighttime. And I don't know why RG... Oh, he's just setting up for the side ups. Okay. So when it becomes nighttime, that drawbridge goes up, but we need access to Castletown. And so what Nalle did there was he never looked at the drawbridge. And we have a little trick we call Schrodinger's chain. You know, a little reference to quantum mechanics. Basically, the idea is if you never look at the chain, it is both up and down. If you get on the chain and then load it, it pops up to where it's supposed to be in the upwards position at nighttime. So you basically get on the chain without looking at it and then turn around and it teleports you up. So you can get in here at night, which is really nice. That's another really standard bingo trick. Also, Nalle doing two things here. He got a heart piece because I believe there is a heart piece goal. Top left, there's 16 different heart
shield
pieces.
Here.
And he is buying the Hylian shield. He had to clip into this shop because it's closed at night.
Also, I think we're seeing a Door of Time skip here from RunnerGuy now.
And Nalle's probably also about to do it. So both of our players are choosing to go adult really early. Typically, this takes a few hours of casual gameplay, but you're going to see RunnerGuy do Door of Time skip here.
Nice. Oh, he did miss the crack.
So because this trick is frame perfect and he's not buffering it.
Nice.
Nice, there you go. If he goes a frame early, he clips back in bounds.
Yeah.
But really clean there from RunnerGuy. RG is just an execution legend. Very consistent player. So now he's actually choosing to do buffered here and going for the swordless variation. But both of our players, Door of Time skip, no problem. We're heading into the adult section at 15 minutes, which means we've got a cool, crisp 3 minutes here with no gameplay where our players are watching these cutscenes. This is the sort of like second prep time. So when you get the Master Sword, you get another 2 to 3 minutes to look at the board, which is really useful. And this is also my opportunity to chill.
Yeah, so like this is pretty much like if you have the time right now to look at the board, right, and you're already going at Adult Link, is there anything specifically that you want to do as the very first thing as Adult Link on the board that kind of sticks out to you?
I think Center Square and Minuet of Forest is too powerful to pass up.
Okay.
That synergy is really good, and I don't know if our players know how powerful board position is, because in Elden Ring Bingo, we talk about it all the time, right? Yeah. We talk about corner squares, we talk about center squares. I don't know that that's something that the OOT Bingo Lockout community really talks about very much, but center square is really powerful, as we know. And I think Phantom Ganon and Minuet of Forest both don't take very long. You basically just need Hookshot. Oh my god, I just burped. I'm dying.
You're good, dude.
I'm talking a million miles a minute. Those two goals are probably what I would gun for first if I chose to rush something.
Okay.
But this board is a little adult heavy, I would say. But there's a good mix. I don't know. There's a good mix of stuff. there's a lot of goals on here that are like child only, which is really interesting. Another reason Forest Temple is good, we need Phantom Ganon, we need Minuet of Forest, but also there are some Stalfos in Forest Temple, and as you can see, we have defeat 10 different Stalfos.
Right.
So that's crucial.
So like
Skull
what
Kid you could do
on this board, you know, we have like long distance squares like an Elden Ring bingo, which is like, you know, Bale, Promise Concert, Radon. Those are like the really long things. You're like, okay, I can work towards that slowly. Is there anything like that on this board too, where it's like I can slowly work towards this, but I'm not gonna be able to like rush it, or it's not wise to rush it?
Quite a few of our goals on this particular board are pretty long. 16 different heart pieces is gonna take you a while. That's the kind of goal that you just pick up as you do other stuff. 3 swords, tunics, boots, and shields. That's pretty deep. So you need to fill up the equipment screen. That's going to require you to enter at least 2 dungeons. Let's see here. All 4 Wasteland Colossus area Skulltulas. That's going to require you to go child and adult. And an important thing to note is that once you go adult, you can't go child until you beat Forest Temple. Because when you first pick up the Master Sword, Sheik stands in front of the pedestal, and when you talk to her, she's like, you should go to the Forest Temple.
Yeah.
So you need to beat Phantom Ganon anyway to go back child.
Interesting.
So that's a pretty deep goal. All 9 Gorons in Fire Temple is just, you have to play the entirety of Fire Temple, which is a long dungeon.
Yeah.
10 different Stalfos is going to require you to enter like 3 or 4 different dungeons. Beat Jabu's Belly and Water Temple requires you to beat 2 dungeons. So quite a few goals here are pretty lengthy, but then you do have your rush goals. Like Minuet of Force is really fast, Defeat a Skull Kid is really fast, Phantom Ganon is pretty fast. Surprisingly, 10 songs is not that long. Silver Scale is pretty fast. 37th Heart Piece Child Fortress, not terrible. 1 Skulltula from each child dungeon is actually pretty quick. 7 compasses they'll be able to do decently fast. So there is a good amount of quick stuff on this board.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see some things here that are also like, I feel like, at least obviously I've played only casually, so like this seems kind of like, oh, like why don't they go for this early on, right? Like, you know, I think from what I remember anyways, and I might be wrong, it's been a while, but Din's Fire and Ferore's Wind, you can do that as child, and you can do that pretty I don't know how early you can do that, but you can, I feel like that works well with, you know, as well, you know, defeat Dark Link and also Jabu's Belly with Water Temple, because you do Dark Link at Water Temple, right? If I'm
there's great synergy in Column 5. Column 5 I was actually going to bring up has some really solid synergy.
I was about to say,
it's got a rush goal. Defeat a Skull Kid is really fast. Defeat Dark Link and Water Temple are really synergistic. And then the other 2 goals aren't terrible. So honestly, if I were looking at picking a row on this card, Column 5 is looking really attractive to me personally.
Right.
I don't know if it's the absolute fastest, but synergy is really strong in Lockout because obviously you want to go where your opponent isn't. So if you can go one place and get more than 1 goal, that's really strong.
So like how strong is the synergy here? Because we said already, Minuet of Forest and defeat Phantom Ganon is already a strong synergy. But then we also have that defeat a Skull Kid, right? Which is also like in that forest area, right? So like that would be like a nice 3-piece potentially for one of the players.
That's where I would go first. If I were them right now, I would get Hookshot and then immediately go to the forest. And it looks like
RunnerGuy might go for that.
He's heading for Zora's River, or is he going to the forest right now? I think he's going straight for Skull Kid. I think RGC, so he's going straight for the Skull Kid here, and Minuet of Forest, I think. The problem is, he can't get Minuet of Forest right now for, again, an RBA reason. So if you can RBA songs into your inventory, but doing so removes some other songs. So if I RBA my songs, I will delete Minuet if I already have it. So he's going to have to be really conscious of not doing that. So he needs to either wait or he's forfeiting 10 songs. But he's going to do Skull Kid here for sure. I think this is a really good idea. He's got board position already. I think it's good to just try to get as big of a lead as you can.
Yeah.
So yeah, as Adult Link here, this is just an annoying fight. You wait for the Skull Kid to do these little like darts, and then when the darts come out, you have the opportunity to attack him, because otherwise he stays right outside of sword range. And there is a stun lock.
Oh, nice. That wasn't that bad.
There you go. That's
There we go.
That's the goal.
Very
you
nice.
also get a fat rupee for this.
Question. So, infinite sword glitch, not useful here versus a Skull Kid, not worth the time?
So yeah, it's another instance where like it takes time to get ISG,
Right.
and if you're swinging your sword, Skull Kid stays away from you, and you need him to go for the dart attack.
Okay.
So there are enemies who it's not good to go for ISG because you like are fully screwed. Also, it looks like Runner Guy. Okay, so he's skipping Mido there, but it looks like he is going for Minuet of Forest right now. So maybe just straight up going for board position and just saying, okay, 10 songs is yours if you want it. I'm not interested in that. Really interesting. I'm interested to see if he's going to do a glitchless setup here. Because I showed him my little video that you can ground jump up this lip, but he doesn't have bombs. So he's either going to go through this maze the way you're supposed to, or he's going to go for this really annoying jump that is not a glitch. It's just a really clever movement. I hate this jump personally, but we'll see if he goes for it. It looks like he is going for it. So he's going to get right on this ledge.
It's like a ledge drop-off jump kind of situation?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Nice. There we go.
Beautiful.
First
well
try.
Done. Okay, so RG also can't skip this cutscene. It is possible to skip this cutscene that he's about to watch, but that also requires explosives. So it's looking like Runner Guy is fully just going to eat this minute-long cutscene and forfeit 10 songs just to get this goal.
You know what? Hey, if you have 4 squares right now to 0,
yeah, why not, right?
Why not? Yeah, I'll take a little bit of hit, right? Nothing wrong with that. And then we have Nalle here. He's been working on some other things instead. Seeing now, by the way, that Defeat a Skull Kid has been taken, so I'm assuming he's like, okay, the whole Minuet Forest Phantom Ganon is out the window. Like, there's no way I'm grabbing this. He had to go to Kakariko Village and get the bottle. He's currently doing some bottle stuff that I don't know what he's doing personally.
Yeah. So I can give an explainer on what this is. I'll go a little more in depth because we have some time.
Yeah.
So basically, all that's ever supposed to be on your B button is either nothing or a sword. But it is possible to get other things onto your B button. So now they just did something called Quick Draw, which is basically you interrupt pulling a bottle by, typically when you pull a bottle, Link like swipes it. You interrupt that action with something else, in this case, getting into water. And then by doing some shenanigans, he's able to put a bottle on his B button. When a bottle is on your B button, which again is something that is not supposed to happen, the game points when it updates your B button, which again is something it's not supposed to do. It's currently trying to treat his B button like a C button where you would equip an item. And when he updates this B button by dropping the bugs, which creates an empty bottle, or catching the bugs, which creates a bug-filled bottle, then the game looks to his C right button to try to like point to what's supposed to be happening. And the combination of whatever's on his B button and whatever's on his C right button will affect something else in his inventory. So as you can see, he RBA'd with Pocket Cucco on C right, and now his gauntlets are black. So these have the strength of fully upgraded gauntlets, and it also changes the gauntlets to a color they're not supposed to be.
Right, okay.
And he's also trading away Pocket Cucco, so he's forfeiting blue gauntlets here. So both of our players immediately locking themselves out of certain goals.
Let me just go ahead and star them on the board as well, so we don't forget that they're locked out of those.
So Nalle is locked out of blue gauntlets, I think, and Runner Guy is locked out of 10 songs. Well, Runner Guy's not locked out of 10 songs. He just can't do it quickly anymore.
Right. Yeah.
He just has to get 10 songs vanilla, which is just slower.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's locked out because it's much slower, but, Saw doesn't delete Minuet. Oh, is it Odd Potion that deletes Minuet? Am I going nutso mode?
Are you goobin?
I'm goobin. Look, gamers, I'm having to explain the entirety of OT Bingo from start to finish. It's
you're good. You're doing great. You're doing great.
So actually, RG is fine on 10 songs. My bad. He's totally fine on 10 songs. He's actually just fine. Another thing that Nalle did with RBA is he got himself a bomb bag by RBAing Kojiro, which is the blue chicken. So Nalle has a bomb bag, which is really nice. So he can actually get bomb drops. But there are actually 2 requirements to get bomb drops. You need to have a bomb bag, and the game checks to see if you have anything in your bomb slot. It's a binary value if there's something in your bomb slot in your inventory or not. When you get a bomb bag, that doesn't give you anything there. So luckily, by RBAing our bomb icon, that puts a bottle in that slot. But the problem is, now there is a bottle there. So if Nalle ever equips a bottle over his bomb slot or anything over his bombs and his C buttons, he is permanently locked out of bombs. So we call it like losing bombs or equipping over bombs. So that is really, really, really bad. So Nalle now really only has 2 C buttons, because if he ever equips over that bomb icon, and same for RG, you can see RG is just keeping that 0 bomb icon that you get when you go adult. He's just keeping it on his C buttons, because if they ever equip over that, they lose it and they have to get legit bombs, which is going to King Dodongo's cavern and just picking up the bomb bag. But Nalle, having already RBA'd the bomb bag, means when you open the chest for the bombs, the game's like, oh, you already have this. So it doesn't give it to you.
Right.
So Nalle has to be really careful not to equip over bombs. Luckily, that's very standard. We're very used to that. Both of our players getting Hookshot here. This is a vanilla interaction.
This being very important for traversal, right?
Yes, exactly. And also, interestingly, Nalle knows that because RG got Minuet and then didn't mark Phantom Ganon, he knows that he doesn't have Hookshot yet. So Nalle might be thinking to himself, okay, well, I know RunnerGuy either is holding priority on Phantom Ganon or he can't do it yet. But Minuet of Forest, the song RunnerGuy got, allows him to warp to Phantom Ganon. So RunnerGuy has something called inventory glitch right now. He needs to pick up a Deku Nut. Oh, or he can do that. Because we're getting items super out of order, the menu system is not built for this. And so sometimes you can't maneuver the cursor to the right item. Okay, another thing to explain. RunnerGuy's doing something called Ocarina items, or OI. For some reason, this is a glitch I don't understand the mechanics of, other than that it works. If you backflip or side hop with a caught bottle in your hand, press the bottle button in midair, and then press a sword or any other item, Link, for some reason, plays that other item as if it were an ocarina. So even though we don't actually have an ocarina, RG can still play Minuet and warp here to the Forest Temple, which is really nice because, again, Phantom Ganon is right here. So RG is going for that center square. He's going for that quick goal in the center. In fact, he's giving up on getting this key. He was going to get this key and this Skulltula, but then he was like, well, I need to get this boss. So he's quickly just going through to the boss here, which I think is really important. This is a really good call from RG, just getting as much board position as possible.
Right.
And kind of running away with it here a little bit in the early game, to be honest.
Yeah, so once he has that center square, he's going to be 4-0 the lead. And it looks like that Nalle is working on Goron City here.
Yeah, Nalle is going through the trade quest. So there's a trade quest as both child and adult, like a side quest. And Nalle's doing the adult trading quest. And the reason for this is because, for some reason, the adult trade quest items are, like, really powerful for RBA. And so he's going to be doing that to get some other goals. Now, RunnerGuy just did a boss key skip. Typically, you need to beat all of Forest Temple to get to Phantom Ganon, but it just so happens the loading zone for the boss is right beneath that staircase, so if you can clip out of bounds, you can get straight to the boss.
You know when I said at the beginning of this match, by the way, I was like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of downtime for us to talk, and like there's shit happening left and right now all of a sudden.
Yeah, I kind of forgot. Things snowball quickly in OOT. Typically, you would need the bow to beat Phantom Ganon, but it turns out the hookshot works just the same. You can stun Phantom Ganon with the hookshot just as if it were the bow, which is really nice. Also, Nalle is also picking up a lot of heart pieces here. So Nalle is sort of working towards a couple goals right now, but they're all long goals, right? RG has kind of sniped all the quick stuff.
Yeah.
Which I think might be the difference maker here.
Which is, again, something that I brought up before, right? Which is like, kind of like an Elden Ring bingo as well, where it's, if you kind of sacrifice out of early game squares, you better have late game locked in, because otherwise, yeah, you're just screwed.
Right.
That's why I was like curious, like, if you go for longer game stuff, are you pretty much kind of almost bulldozing the early game rusher out of late game completely because of just having more access to things in the story,
Yeah.
Slash the linear fashion, even though we are able to, as you like showcased, able to skip through a bunch of sections, kind of like sequence break a lot of the game. There's still, some sequence you still have to follow sometimes, you know?
Exactly. Okay, so RG is using ISG here on Phantom Ganon. Beautiful one cycle.
That was fast. Yeah, that was really nice.
Incredibly good boss fight. That is really, really clean for RG. And also for us, I mean, you know, like how we wait for the boss defeated text to show up in Elden Ring, in OOT, the second that boss is dead, a cutscene starts, that's when you mark the goal.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, like, is there like ruling? Because like like I mean, as you know, in Elden Ring Bingo, like there is rulings for very specific squares, and be like, oh, you have to mark it here, you have to mark it there. You know, you can't mark Godric until the dialogue is completely over. Like, is there rulings for Ocarina of Time as well, Bingo, where you know you only are allowed to mark it after this cutscene or before this cutscene?
Yes.
You know, those types of situations.
We have standard marking times.
Okay.
So like for items, it's when the item is added to your inventory, which we typically wait. If it's a chest opening, we wait for Link to put it over his head. Also, Nalle just made a bit of a mistake that I'm not sure he knows he made. So again, you have to be so conscientious of RBA.
Mm-hmm.
Nalle has actually probably just locked himself out of 10 songs unless he knows he's not locked out, but he's not going to get it as soon as he thinks he is. So basically the odd potion, which is the item on his C down right now.
Yeah.
You have to catch with bugs in order to get the Song of Time with that item. But I think he just dropped with it or didn't do anything with it. And then he got Song of Storms. This is a problem because if he RBAs it again, he will delete Song of Storms. So he thinks he has Song of Time in his inventory, but he doesn't. So I think he will actually wind up with 9 songs.
And they just have to get another one like the normal way, pretty much.
Exactly. Are players forbidden from resetting the game without saving, or can squares stay marked? Okay, if you undo an action, you must unmark. So in OOT Bingo, if you lose a thing you have to unmark the goal. So if you don't save, and then you reset the console, you will lose whatever it is that you just had. So for example, let's say I got Silver Scale, but I didn't save, and then I fucked something up and reset the console, I lose the goal. But in OOT Bingo, you can still remark things. So in Elden Ring, if I mark and unmark something, I'm like locked, right?
Yeah.
Not in OOT. In OOT, all squares are open to a player unless their game state literally prevents them from getting it.
And how often do players actually reset the console, by the way? Is there only like very specific moments where they do that, or you know, is
usually
it maybe...
it's for save warping.
Okay.
So if you save in OOT and then reset the console, you go to the front of the dungeon you're in, or if you're not in a dungeon, you go to like a very static place. And so that is really useful, and players will use it a lot. But resetting when you screw up is very rare. Ideally, our players should not be in that kind of situation, but you never know. It is possible.
So like
RG's now doing his own RBA.
How does that work? I guess like if isn't it a little you know, like how in Elden Ring you're not allowed to withhold information by you have to mark as soon as possible. And also when you mark, it's marked forever. It's marked for good.
Right.
In this case, you mentioning that if they don't have it all of a sudden anymore, they have to unmark it. Would that not mess with strategy a little bit? Because like, what if the other player then has gone beyond that point themselves, and then both players are it's just locked out at that point?
So there are very few goals for which this is actually a problem.
Okay.
Very rarely. Also, Nalle is going for this Bolero cutscene skip with the bottle still on his B button, which means he's going to have a stick on his B button now. If he ever presses B, he must reset the console. So don't press B, Nalle. Unless he has no sticks on his B button, in which case that's fine. Pulling a stick as adult is banned in Bingo because it crashes N64. Okay, he'll be fine because he doesn't actually have any sticks. We don't allow most version exclusive stuff. So like Nalle is playing on the Wii Virtual Console version of the game. RunnerGuy is playing on the N64.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain version exclusive stuff that we don't allow. So if
fair,
if Nalle pulled a stick, which he doesn't have, that would crash RunnerGuy's game, so we don't allow it. But he's got bottle back on B button. It's all good. So like you were asking, there are very few goals for which like it's actually that in flow. One of them would be like bottled fairy, for example. So a bottled fairy, if I die, it uses the fairy, right? But you can get a new fairy really quickly. So that goal we're fine with, like, okay, unmark it when you use your fairy and then remark it when you get another one, because the other player in that interim 30 seconds could go quickly get one. Like you saw, Nalle just got a fairy. So goals like that, it's not really an issue. And for bigger goals, it really just never comes up. Players very infrequently will unmark something. It's just very rare to screw something up that badly.
Fair.
Fairies for fake bomb bag, yeah. So it's looking like he got that fairy for a thing I'll explain way later.
It is also interesting, by the way,
column 5,
where he used the whole bottle tech again to use his hookshot as an ocarina, and I'm just imagining like Link actually doing that, where he just has like a thing, and you hear just you're trying to blow like air into the hookshot. That sounds seems hilarious, dude.
Yeah, wait until he uses a stick as his ocarina.
True. No holes in it, just full stick, you know?
Yep. Yeah, okay, it looks like Nalle is going for maybe defeat King Dodongo here. He's also going to be getting... Okay, so I mentioned earlier that the bomb bag here is not useful for us because we already RBA'd bombs, and it's not going to give us a bomb bag. It just so happens that if you pick up the real bomb bag after giving yourself a fake one, the game gives you the bomb bag like it's an item in your inventory, and it goes into your bomb choose slot. This is useful because it just so happens if you RBA that fake weird bomb bag item, it gives you keys in the water temple. It gives you small keys in the water temple. So the first thing Nalle's going to do here is a trick called Doom Jump, which is my personal favorite trick in OOT. I love this trick. You'll see why it's called what it's called.
Okay, so he dies with a fairy in a bottle and pulls himself up there to.
So he dies at the same. He dies on the same frame that he hookshots a ladder, and it shoots him up into the air. You would just die from this, but he has a bottled fairy to revive himself.
That's pretty cool.
It's an incredible trick. I always thought it was called Doom Jump because you die when you jump. Apparently, it's called Doom Jump because the guy who found it was called Doom. And that makes me really mad.
Yeah, also, that's so unfortunate.
He's not getting the bomb bag. Okay. But he doesn't have choose yet, so he could still get bomb choose. No, Garg? Right? Like, couldn't he just get choose from a chest later? Or do you permanently lock yourself out of it if you get the fake bomb bag? The Doom Jump situation is crazy. You lose him forever. Okay, so he's opting not to do the fake bomb bag because he wants bomb choose later.
That is a good question, actually, as well. Yeah, when does Nalle actually go for Phantom Ganon? Because as you mentioned, it is required to access the other stuff in the game. At what point do you actually do that? I guess at some point, Nalle right now is just trying to prep everything prior to having to be forced to do that. Is that pretty much like you think his thought process is like, hey, I'm just going to do everything I can to not do Ganon, and then when I have to do it, kind of like with like Hinterland's access, right, or Shadowkeep access, be like, okay, I have to do this now, fine, I'll do it now, you know, kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, all he's locked out of from not doing Phantom Ganon is child goals, of which there are a few, but it's not something that he needs to be super worried about right this second. So I think he's just saying, okay, I don't need to do Phantom Ganon right this second. Also, we are seeing a possible snipe situation here. Nalle is going for King Dodongo, and RunnerGuy is currently prepping King Dodongo. So this is just going to be flatly like 2 wasted minutes for RG, which is really nice for Nalle. There you go. So RunnerGuy is going to see, okay, I need to leave. I don't need to be here. So that's good. That's just wasted time, which Nalle needs. And that's also Nalle's first goal. Nalle's on the board, baby. And
block the diagonal in row 2 with that as well. Nice corner square.
Yes, really nice diagonal space. As we talk about in Elden Ring Bingo a lot, proximity to the corners is really good. So a diagonal square, anything on the diagonals is really powerful.
Yeah.
Because it blocks 3 rows, not just 2. So yeah, getting any of those diagonals is really good.
And this would count towards open 3 boss key doors, right?
It would not. So
okay,
a boss key door is defined as a boss door that you literally have to open with with an actual boss key chain.
Gotcha.
So none of the child boss doors count.
Right.
Because they all open via other means. And And Nalle's actually returning here. Is he getting... Oh, he's getting a skull. Okay, so there are child skulls is on the board. One skull from each child dungeon. This is a child dungeon. So Nalle's going to go ahead and just get a quick Skulltula and then get out of here.
So question here is, by the way, as we see Runner Guy currently in Kakariko Village, we have that well that you were talking about, right? Which technically you're supposed to access later when you do Song of Storms. Yeah. Can you not do the thing that you do in the forest where you talk to Navi and drop down the water? Is that possible?
So you can as child. So as adult, there is no water in the well, but there's a boulder blocking the entrance.
Right.
It is still possible to get in there, actually. The issue is not getting into bottom of the well. There are glitches, plenty of them, to get into bottom of the well as adult. The problem, and this is hilarious, when you enter bottom of the well, there is a crawl space, and only Child Link can fit through the crawl space. And despite all the nonsense garbage glitches we have, there's really no way through this crawl space as adult. At least not any way that's like gonna happen during a bingo race.
Yeah.
So funnily enough, you can get in there, but you just can't get past the first room as adult.
Interesting.
So it's just not useful.
Interesting.
And RG is heading into Shadow Temple here using a hookshot jump, very beautifully executed. He's going to be getting hover boots here. I'm going to take a look at the card. Is there any other thing we would want here? There's Stalfos. There's 2 Stalfos in Shadow Temple that he might want to do. There's a boss key door he might want to open.
And he already has one from Phantom Ganon already too, right? Because that's a... Or because he skipped it, that doesn't count?
Exactly.
Okay.
So you actually have to physically go get the boss key and then open the door. So because he skipped it, it doesn't count. Runner Guy doesn't have Zelda's Lullaby, so he can't get the Stalfos. So he's just going to kill Dead Hand here, which is the mini boss that holds the hover boots, and then he's probably going to get a compass, and then he's going to get out of here.
Question then as well here then is going to be, he could at least get some, can he get some heart pieces here in Shadow Temple? Are there any like really accessible heart pieces, or is that not really...
So interestingly, OOT doesn't really have heart pieces in the dungeons. That is a thing in other installments in Zelda, but not in Ocarina of Time. There's just the heart container, which we count as a separate thing.
Got it.
So the heart container gives you a full new heart, so that's a separate item for us. Nalle's going to do something here. Oh, no, he has 200 rupees, so he might still do it. So there's something called Get Item Delay, which is basically where you can basically scam this shop owner. So this guy that Nalle is about to talk to, it is kind of fucked up. He is doing it. Okay, so this Goron sells you the Giant's Knife, which is Nalle needs for a goal. But he talked to him and then didn't get it by having his camera in a weird position. And now he gets the sword without having to spend 200 rupees. So that just saved Nalle a ton of money, which he's probably going to use to get a Goron tunic here, if I had to guess. Or he's just going to say, okay, he is going to do this. Okay. So he's going to do another glitch here to get into this shop early. He's going to do a little push there. Very nice.
Oh, it looks like that we're also seeing RG here, by the way, doing a skip here again. Going to go back and change back to Young Link?
Yes. So first of all, RG just... okay, RG didn't beat Forest. I was going to ask, look at that face palm. Okay, so Runner Guy beat Phantom Ganon, but he didn't actually step into the blue warp, which is beating the dungeon is what gets Sheik to move. And the way Runner Guy just realized he screwed up is typically Sheik is there to teach you Sun Song. Or not Sun Song, pardon me, to teach you Prelude of Light. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't there. And so RG was like, oh man, I fucked up. There's a lot to keep track of in OOT Bingo.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is going to go actually beat the Forest Temple now and go back Child. I think that's because he maybe wants to block row 1 and column 2. Because you either have to get Silver Scale or Blue Gauntlets, right? So I think RG is going to opt to just go get Silver Scale as Child and get that goal off the board.
So question, you say beat Forest Temple, but he did beat Phantom Ganon. Is that not enough?
Yes. So you have to beat the boss. Beating the boss is for the square where it says, beat the boss.
Right.
But then for something that requires the binary value of the Forest Temple to be beaten, like going Child, you actually have to step into the blue warp. The blue warp at the end of the dungeon,
the fight. Right.
That's what sets the flag of like, okay, it's beaten. Technically, what you need to step in the blue warp, and you need the medallion in your inventory.
Right. Okay.
But what causes Sheik to move is watching this cutscene and beating the temple.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. You'd think it'd be set to just killing Phantom. That makes sense. That makes sense, though, I guess.
And interestingly, RunnerGuy, actually, you'll see he's at low health here. The reason he has low health is because he's going to attempt to skip this cutscene. This is a really, really long cutscene, one of the longest in the game. And so he's going to do something called a cutscene skip. This is actually quite difficult. So this is low-key an application of a wrong warp, but not really. But basically what he's going to do is he is going to interrupt the blue warp taking him away. So the first thing he's going to do is he's going to get into a very specific position. That's not the position I use, but go off king. Yeah, he's realizing he's in the wrong corner. So he's going to side hop left. I think he's still in the wrong corner, but maybe this works. I don't know.
Are there strategies like this that like people just have like their own flavor to it, or is it pretty much like cookie cutter, like everyone does the same thing every single time?
There are standard setups. But there are stuff you can manipulate. And funnily, RunnerGuy is actually doing the setup I use because I'm also a boomer. RunnerGuy and I have been around for too long. But he was in the wrong corner. It is easy to get turned around. This room looks the same everywhere. That is the corner you need. No, that's the one. You were at the right one. Maybe this will work. No. He's in the wrong corner.
He resets the console here. Okay.
Yeah, so he did save right before this. But he's in the wrong corner here. So basically what he's trying to do is do Ocarina items right as he hits the blue warp.
Yeah.
And that is going to interrupt the blue warp, but it's still going to try to take him away. It's going to run a timer, basically. There's a timer when you step into blue warps because there's an animation of Link like looking up into the sky and looking amazed and being warped up. And when that timer hits 0, the cutscene will start. So what RunnerGuy is going to do is he's going to try to die right as that cutscene timer hits 0. And if he dies as the timer hits 0, the game is going to set the flag that the cutscene was watched, but you don't actually have to watch it. So it's a frame-perfect death trick. You have to die on the exact right frame and at the right position. So RunnerGuy is going to attempt to interrupt that blue warp and then do a specific movement setup in order to die at the same time that the blue warp takes him away.
Sorry.
The reason Chad is asking, the reason he's not collecting that heart container is because he would have to damage back down to half a heart, because a bomb does half a heart of damage and he needs to die for this trick. So he doesn't want to collect that heart container because it's going to bring him back to full health and then he would have to damage back down. I don't know if this corner works that he's using. Yes, that's the corner. Beautiful, baby. That's it. Okay, get in there. Side hop left, side roll. That's the one.
Question I have here is, can he not save to like where he is at half health inside the temple instead of being outside with the wolves?
So whenever you save in a dungeon, you go to that first room again. So that you can't change.
Okay.
The other thing you can't change, if you are ever below 3 hearts when you save, you have 3 hearts when you come back.
Okay. You just automatically just get recharged.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if you have more than 3 hearts, like let's say you had 20 heart containers, if you damage down below 3 and save warp, you will wind up with 3.
Okay.
Okay. That's the frame. He should be good here. Beautiful. Okay, that's the cutscene skip. You'll see the blue warp is trying to spin him away.
That is hilarious. Him just spinning like a, I don't know, like a star, whatever that is.
So there you go. And that white flash as he fades in, that means he got the trick. So
just a weenie spinning.
So that is the Forest Temple is beaten for RunnerGuy, which Nalle doesn't know for sure, right? He thinks he does, because he beat Phantom Ganon, so why wouldn't he? But not for sure.
Yeah.
So that is some valuable information for RunnerGuy to have. And he's now going to go Child.
Interesting. Okay, so, like, do you think now... Is Din's Fire and Ferori's Wind, is that only accessible Child, or can you kind of, like, work your way into that as adult Link as well in some way?
So Nalle is actually prepping those goals right now by getting magic. So he went up and got magic from the Great Fairy on top of Death Mountain Trail.
Yeah.
And you cannot get Din's Fire as adults. You do have to go Child for that one. But Feror's Wind, you can be either age.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay, RunnerGuy just did a cutscene skip there to skip the Prelude of Light cutscene. That was really good. You void out at the same time as the cutscene is playing. And again, in this game, if a cutscene gives you an item within the cutscene, Usually, it actually gives it to you on the first frame of the cutscene, and then the cutscene is just for fun. But you would never know that in casual play, obviously. You watch the cutscene. But by voiding out of bounds as the cutscene was playing, he can not have to watch the cutscene, and he already has the item.
Holy shmoney money.
Yeah, that's a golden rupee. That's 200 rupees. He's getting money for... I don't know. Silver scale, maybe?
Tooting on that hook shot. Here's a question as well. I'm assuming, like, obviously these aren't all the goals that Bingo has to offer for Ocarina of Time. Is one of them getting, like, the maxed out wallet as a goal? Is that a thing?
Yes, we have Giant's Wallet as a goal. I don't know if it's a goal in this version of Bingo. Something important to note is that we update our goals probably like once a year or once every other year. We'll go through a big update process where our dedicated players work together to remove some goals and add some new ones to keep it fresh. I don't know if Giant's Wallet is in the current meta or not, but Giant's Wallet is the biggest wallet there is. And there are two ways to get it. You either have to get... how many Skulltulas is it? It's 10 for the adult's wallet. Oh, and a void out there for Nalle. Nalle, again, just picking up heart pieces here. It's 10 for adult wallet. I actually don't... Is it 20? No, 20 is Stone of Agony. 50? 30. Okay. I haven't gotten it legit in so many years. If you RBA a bigger wallet into your inventory and then get the 10 reward, it just gives you the biggest wallet.
Interesting, okay.
Because it just increments your wallet by one value. And so if you already have a bigger one, then you get the biggest for only having 10 Skulltulas.
So I'm assuming, just based on like all the glitches and skips that are also already present in this run, is there like a duplicating glitch as well that is legal in Bingo or no?
You can duplicate some stuff. Relevant mostly is also he can't buy bombs. Oh, he just looked at his songs for the first time. Yeah, he just realized, okay, I think the flag for allowing you to buy bombs is based on having the Goron Ruby, which it's the same RBA that gives you the Goron Ruby as gives you Song of Time. So that was Nalle realizing, oh, I fucked up an hour ago. Like, there are two things you can dupe to answer your question, Domo.
Yeah.
You can dupe heart pieces and you can dupe gold Skulltulas.
Okay, so you could still dupe that for the giant wallet if you really wanted to.
Yes, you absolutely could. There are certain goals where we stipulate no duping. So,
okay.
For instance, you'll notice that the goal in the top left of the card says obtain 16 different heart pieces. Mm-hmm. So that's because you could dupe 16 heart pieces. It's not actually that hard. But we don't think that's much fun.
Right.
It's much more interesting to actually go around the map. Same thing with Skulltulas. You'll have goals like obtain 30 unique Skulltulas, specifying that you can't dupe.
All right. Give me a hot second. Sorry, I have an emergency. Give me just 2 seconds here. I'll be right back.
You're good, dude. All right. I've got the comms, baby. Chat, it's just you and me, baby. What game version is this? So Ocarina of Time has a couple of versions. Also, Nalle is doing something to unload the ice, freezing King Zora right now, to give himself Zora Tunic. Ocarina of Time has 3 game versions, realistically. There's 1.0, 1.1, and 1.2. RunnerGuy is playing on 1.0, which is the original N64 release. Nalle is playing on 1.2, which is the Wii Virtual Console release. Usually, 1.2 is the fastest. There are version-exclusive tricks, but we ban most of them. Most of the version-exclusive stuff is banned, so it's really just differences in, like, load times. The N64 is slower to load, most things. And the N64 runs a little bit slower, it's laggier, but N64 also has its own benefits. Yeah, so RunnerGuy's about to get Silver Scale here. He's going to play the diving minigame, which, fun fact, RunnerGuy has done blindfolded before. I don't know how many countless hours that took, because the rupees are random where they drop. But I do remember he did it blindfolded, which is truly hell on earth. And Nalle's going to get for his win here. Chat, my voice is hoarse. Okay, Nalle doing Ocarina items here. And yeah, so RunnerGuy picking up Silver Scale here is going to be really nice information for Nalle. Because Nalle's going to know, okay, well, Nalle's not locked out of blue gauntlets too. So both of our players are locking themselves out of blue gauntlets here. Not a great look. No, all versions of the game are in all languages. Welcome back, Captain Domulus.
I'm back. Thank you.
Everything okay?
Yeah, everything good. Everything good. Thank you.
All right, sweet.
Oh, shit. Nice. For Warrior's Wind. Came back just in time.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh, not 23, too. Alrighty. Oh,
So
question.
We're 4-2.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Ryan.
what's up?
I was going to say, so like, you know, like with Elden Ring Bingo, there's like players that have specific play styles. Whereas like you get like the Rusher, the Planner, the Mind Gamer, those types of settings. Oh, we also have 5 for blue. Knowing these players yourself, do you think there's any like distinct play styles for each of these players? You know, RunnerGuy, Nalle, Triforce, anyone like that sticks out to you that's like, oh, they play specifically like this?
Frankly, I don't play a lot of Lockout in OOT. I probably haven't done a Lockout race in OOT myself in almost a decade. But I mean, even from what we just saw, I mean, these players did some practice matches. And from what we just saw, RunnerGuy clearly likes to rush down goals. And I think, yeah, okay, so Pancake has said something interesting here. Apparently, Nalle likes to hide goals. And I think RunnerGuy actually likes to hide goals too. These are two players who, in my past experience, they love to hide progress. But in our format, we're not allowing them to hold goals, right? If they have a goal, they have to mark it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting, difficult thing for both of them because I think they both love to collect a bunch of stuff and then dump goals, which is not allowed in this format.
Yeah.
But RunnerGuy seems to be adapting really nicely. 5-2 with great board position. I mean, RunnerGuy has already blocked a lot of rows.
Yeah. He's in very good position here. He's blocked every single column already. He's blocked every single row. The only thing that he's got to worry about right now is...
No, he's blocked everything, I think. I think he's used the minimum amount of possible goals to block every row.
Yeah, because with center square, you block all the diagonals. Yeah, I think he's good to go.
Yeah, 5 goals is the minimum number of goals to possibly block every possible line, and RunnerGuy has done it, which is kind of amazing.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah, so RunnerGuy now can just go for value.
And you mentioned that you're not sure if these players, like, not that they don't know, but more or less don't really consider board position that much or not.
But they clearly do.
Do they? Or is this maybe just I don't know, maybe this is a coincidence of him just being like, these are the things that really work out for me with like Phantom Ganon, Minute of Force, and Skull Kid, like just aligning in those positions.
That's a good point.
I mean, maybe they do though. I don't know. But that's what I'm curious about is like, do they actually think about, you know, like, hey, this is like corner square. This is really important because in Elden Ring Bingo, that is definitely very heavily considered. It's like, oh, like this is a corner. This is a corner. I'm blocking out all of these angles on the board and board positioning. But I don't necessarily expect every single form of bingo for different games to be considered that as well, because sometimes gameplay / execution might just completely overrule that type of thought process, you know?
I think you're right. I think it might just be happenstance. Also, RunnerGuy is going to do the worst possible version of this. Okay, so he doesn't have Navi because he already used it somewhere. So he needs to do a jump slash and hit the Cucco at the same... Oh my god, what a goat! What a goat! That's so sick.
That's really cool.
He's got to be so pleased. So because it's a cutscene dive, it doesn't just have to be talking to Navi that gets you in the bottom of the well. Any cutscene will work. And so hitting Cuccos enough times, a little Ocarina of Time Easter egg, right, is that the Cuccos start to attack you.
Right, like a swarm.
There's a cutscene that plays when this happens. And so RunnerGuy jump slashed the Cucco and was able to use that cutscene. Really nice. That is very difficult. Now he's trying to clip into Gerudo Training Grounds here. I'm not sure what...
For the Silver Rupees, I'm assuming?
Oh, is Silver Rupee rooms on the board?
Yes. It's column 2, row 4. Clear 8 Silver Rupee rooms.
There are lots of Silver Rupee rooms in GTG, Gerudo Training Grounds. Lots of them here, which is really nice. There's actually a couple in bottom of the well also. One
True.
to be precise. Yeah, just the one. But RG, I'm not sure what he's doing in bottom of the well right now because he doesn't have the tools to get bomb chews unless he does corpse push, which is a trick I think he refuses to learn. Which, like, fair enough. That trick sucks. I'm not... Yeah, he's just leaving.
Are there any... So, like, if you're looking at the vast knowledge that goes into Ocarina of Time bingo, right? But also knowing, like, every single skip, is there a player that, like, knows and executes every single skip? Or does everyone kind of, like, pick and choose what they like and don't like, and then they kind of just... If they have to learn it, they'll learn it, kind of thing?
Over the learning process for bingo is basically... What I recommend to new players is to pick goals with tricks you don't know. Because that's how you learn. Because over time, to be an effective OOT bingo player, you kind of need to know how to do every goal.
Right.
And for that, you maybe don't need to know the most optimal version of every skip, but you need to at least know a consistent version for most of them. So ideally, every player we have this weekend should know everything that they need to know.
Okay.
And the beauty of OOT is that it's so broken that there are lots of versions for skips.
Right.
So, like, you know, Runner Guy couldn't do some forms of getting bomb chews in bottom of the well there, but he could have done Vine Clip, which is a really old trick, but he chose not to because it sucks and takes a long time.
Which is kind of nice, though, right? It's having, like, multiple versions of being able to get to the same location, you know? Because,
Yes.
like, in Elden Ring, you don't really have that. You have it, like, either you kill shit or, you know, have fun. Like, that's, like, the main thing. There really isn't that, like, many options to get to that same area. So I think having multiple options is pretty cool. But yeah, I was just wondering, like, you know, from an optimization slash meta slash...
I mean, there are
you know.
players who are just flatly better. Like, there are players who know the fastest version of every skip and are gonna go for the riskiest, hardest thing every time. Those players exist, and they frequently win our races. But they also play much riskier, right? Like, you know, Runner Guy is a very consistent player. I don't think he goes for the riskiest stuff. I don't think he would be mad about me saying that. He's a very consistent player that plays the methodical old game, where, like, okay, he knows an old setup that's consistent. It's the same way I play. The older consistent thing is what he's going to go for most of the time. But there's also consistency in the new stuff, right? Like, you know, there's fast new tricks that are found that are consistent because they're fast and cool. And good. And there's value in that too. Okay, Nalle's going to do something called a weird shot here. He's going to take damage as he pulls the Hookshot and go underground. He's basically displacing his hitbox, and he's able to skip through a lot of these fences here. And he finally has bomb chews. We are an hour in, and a player has bomb chews for the first time. That is so nuts. Wait, is he bomb chew weird shotting? What? There's no way. There's no way, dude. Okay, player's pulling out all the stops here. It's not that hard. Garg.
This is like a frame perfect trick as well, I'm assuming?
I mean, yeah, it will be frame perfect. It's just slightly more difficult than with a bomb because it's not typical. This is a very atypical way to do a weird shot. Weird shots aren't frame perfect. Chat room.
This is why we don't look. This is why we don't look. You know, we argue later.
The hook pull is absolutely frame perfect. There are 3 parts to a weird shot. Nice job, Nalle. Let's go. There are 3 parts to a weird shot, right? There's the roll, the hook pull, and then like what part of the explosion you get into. And yes, there is variable frame data for the first 2 parts, but when you pull the hook is absolutely frame perfect. Also, grow up.
So this is going to be...
Yo, let's go, Nalle.
Interesting here is the question. As of right now, with, you know, RG being 3 squares ahead, having quite a lot of presence, are there any, like, early calls of being like, okay, like, he's pretty much already, like, got this locked in the bag? Or are there enough things where, like, you can, like, you know, kind of fumble the bag a little bit?
There's plenty of game left. And most of the squares left are long squares. most of the squares left are really long squares, and Nalle has much more progress towards a lot of them. So I think it's still anyone's game, personally.
What do you think is the next
there
goal
are
here, though?
setups to make the weird shot stop frame perfect. Chat, this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. The vast majority of people watching the stream don't even know what a weird shot is.
Yeah, can you give us a quick little breakdown of like what a weird shot, a bombchu weird shot is? I'm assuming it has to do with like the explosion, and then in the frame of the explosion, you have to like hook shot somewhere. Is that kind of how that works?
Yeah, so you're like you're taking damage at the same time as you're attempting to pull the hook shot. And for some reason, this displaces your hitbox. It like displaces where Link's hookshot is going. And the camera is tied to like Link's face. Like it's tied to where the hookshot is aiming when you go in the first person mode. And so the hookshot goes beneath the ground, and so too does the camera. And you are able to hookshot through, like, collision in Ocarina of Time is one-sided. So for the most part, if you're on the other side of collision, you can just go through the backside for free. And so if you're already underground, you can just hookshot through the ground to a wall that's on the other side. So weird shotting is really nice for like getting past walls.
Question. I was expecting, honestly, Jabu Water Temple here at some point. Are we kind of
really long?
Is that too long? It just, I guess, especially for like RG here, I feel like that would be just a nice combo piece. Again, Water Temple, Dark Link just seems really nice. But also, like, side question. I'm kind of going on double tangents here. We had some Stalfo skills on Nalle's screen here. How do they keep track? Because there is a lot happening in these matches. Because as you know, the Elden Ring bingo board, you're able to keep track. You have like a small counter on the top right, being like, okay, I've done this many, so I don't forget. This case, you can't do that, right? So
when we're playing on our typical bingo boards, there is a built-in counter where we can count things.
Okay.
I think on Bingo Sync, which is what we're using right now, it doesn't have a built-in counter, which kind of sucks. But I typically just keep notes. Like, I'll just have notes. Or in load zones, I'll count in my head. Like, okay, what have I done so far?
Yeah.
I would say a reason why RunnerGuy is not doing water... Wait, what did Nalle just lock himself out of? He equipped ice arrows and then he hovered. Oh, he doesn't have bugs. Oh, okay. This isn't a huge problem. It's just a massive time loss. I'm not going to explain why he can't continue, but basically he can't do the next room.
Interesting. Okay.
Anyway, he will fix that. I think the reason RunnerGuy... Oh, he got hit by the door. LOL. I think the reason RunnerGuy is not doing Water Temple Jabu right now is because Nalle actually has priority, or so RunnerGuy thinks. Because Nalle got Farore's Wind, and that's right where Jabu is.
Right.
So I think RunnerGuy might think that Nalle is doing that, which sort of makes sense.
Doesn't want to waste his time. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but Jabu is hard to get into as adult. Not impossible. Actually, for many years, it was impossible. Because the dungeon is only supposed to be accessible as child, but you can do it as adult.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen that skip
It
before.
is a glitch, though.
Yeah. But that's a legal one in bingo, or is that one of those ones you're like, no?
It's legal.
One's legal? Okay.
Yeah. It is super in the meta these days. Very rarely will people do Jabu as child these days.
Interesting. Is that because just of time's sake, or is that because of accessibility of tools?
Both. The dungeon is faster as adult, and also bingo is a little adult forward. Like, for the most part, our players will be adult for the vast majority of this race.
Yeah.
And it's very slow to go back and forth between ages. And also, because the dungeon is built for child, the ledges are like lower, the gaps are smaller.
Right.
So when you're adult, you can you can fly through the dungeon.
Now you have the thing of like, as you showed in the skips and glitches video, that you can do like the jump, the little air jump.
The ground jump, yeah.
Right. Can you do that with young Link as well, or is that only an adult Link type situation? Okay.
You can do that as young Link, yep. And that opens up some child dungeons, actually.
Interesting. Okay.
That allows you to skip like half of Dodongo's Cavern as child, but even then, it's still faster as adult.
All right. Well, looks like
Nalle is getting bugs maybe at the entrance of Gerudo Valley. Are these bugs here as adult?
apparently not.
Is he going to go for this silver block grotto, or is he getting this heart piece? Okay, he's getting the 2 heart pieces. There's 2 freestanding heart pieces here. He went super early.
Nice little slide city here from Runner Guy.
We Hessen, baby. Nice unbuffered. Does that side hop make it? Nice. Okay. So he gets this, and then he's going to either recoil or mega side hop down. Yeah, the mega side hop is much safer. So he's going to go down to the waterfall and get the second heart piece here. This has to be... Why did he side hop left? Why did he make a side hop left? And also way too far forward. Oh, no. Way too far forward on the ledge. And now RG's in the same place. This is Lockout, but line does win. Also, if I'm Nalle here, I don't know. Maybe I just do Water Temple.
Yeah, might as well, because it still works towards that defeat Darkling, but also gets you that boss key door. If you
and you're
do go
right
for that.
here.
Yeah, you might as well, right?
And he actually, fun fact, RBAing ice arrows on C right, and he is going to do it, I think. I think he is doing it right now. Or he's going for the heart piece here. How's he going to do that without iron boots? Yep, he's leaving. Or he's just setting his spawn position, maybe. Oh, he's resetting the grass for more bombs. Doesn't have bugs to RBA ice arrows. Are there bugs here in Lake Hylia as adult? No. That bush is not here, I think. Anyway, if you RBA ice arrows, you get the Water Temple boss key. So that would be really nice for him. It looks like he's going to check this patch. I don't know that this patch is here as adult. Yeah, he's giving up on that. There's bugs in the grotto, though. There's a grotto right outside Lake Hylia that has bugs. Domo, I am going to go pee really quick. I'll be right back.
You good? I got it, man. Do what you got to do. So we got some Ocarina of Time, chat. How we like the match so far, guys? I know for a lot of people here that are tuning in are, Elden Ring bingo enjoyers. This is like your first time seeing Ocarina of Time bingo. But how are you guys liking it so far? Hopefully it is understandable, as it is a whole new game. So there's a whole lot of stuff to learn. There's a whole lot of stuff to like observe and understand. So I hope it's enjoyable, especially with Adiv's fantastic commentary and breaking down a lot of things for us to be able to digest what is going on. I hope it's at least somewhat understandable. It is a little over my head as well, I will not lie, but it is fun to see. It's fun to be able to showcase a different game like this. I do think with a game as old as Ocarina of Time, and there being so many different like things that you can do that are outside of the actual game's realm, it's a little over a lot of people's heads. And that's why like games that are newer, like Monster Hunter Wilds Bingo, for example, is going to be a bit more digestible because there aren't going to be like insane tricks that kind of break the game. But I hope you guys still enjoy it. Maybe a bit more explanations on goal synergies from Adif would be nice. Yeah, we could talk a bit more about board synergy and stuff like that. Yeah, I've been trying to get that going, but if I'm being honest, I would say a third of these goals I have no freaking clue what the hell I'm looking at. Okay, that's why I'm going to I'm asking as many questions as I can. I'm pretty much you guys, but the verbal version of being like, okay, well, what's that, what's this, what's that, which I think is a good thing. Honestly, I think it's a good dynamic of having someone that's really, really knowledgeable, which is normally me. I'm normally the knowledgeable one, being like, oh, this is what's happening, this is what's happening, this is here, this is there. In this case, I'm the dumb one this time, where I don't know what the hell is happening half the time. I am happy, however, that I have made some calls of like, oh, this is a good synergy, and then AF being like, yes, it is, and then me be like, cool, I'm not too stupid. So that's cool. We have 3 tunics already for Nalle, by the way. There is the square on row 1, which is 3 swords, tunics, boots, and shields. And he already has 3 of those. And he has 2 swords because he did get that giant sword early on in Goron City. So it looks like he's currently in the lead on that square specifically. And I think he's also in the lead for heart pieces. So a lot of prep still coming out here from Nalle. I'm expecting him to get a lot of squares here very soon. He's got all 3 swords now? Oh, I missed it. Oh, nice. Yeah, for sure, Shark. For sure, man. All right, let's see. RG's going exiting, and I'm not sure what he's going for right now. I feel like I've seen this setup before, what Nalle's going for a skip, but I don't remember exactly what we're going for here. Also, we have 3 Skulltulas in Water Temple. I just realized that, by the way. So, honestly, Jabu, Water Temple, defeat Dark Link, Skulltulas in Water Temple, and 3 boss key doors. That's a lot. That's genuinely a lot. I think that's like insane synergy for Water Temple. Like that's insane synergy. That should definitely be I don't know, be pushed more. Water Temple is faster. Water Temple is faster the more prep you have, which makes sense. Which definitely makes sense. But I just feel like, especially for in the position that Nalle's in right now, where he is just 3 squares behind, going for that huge synergistic play would seem worth it, right? It really would seem worth it to go for all of that, just to kind of get yourself more on the board.
I had to get a snack, chat. It wasn't. I'm starving, bro.
Nah, you're good, dude. Welcome back, man. Welcome back, dude. I was checking with chat to see like how they're feeling about OOT so far. Some people saying it is definitely over their head, which I said it's a little bit over my head as well. There's a lot happening. But you're doing a great job explaining a lot of things. One thing that they did ask is like talking a bit more about synergies on the board. Which I just noticed, by the way, there is 3 Skulltulas in Water Temple as well. So we have 3 Skulltulas in Water Temple, boss key doors, Jabu Water Temple, and defeat Dark Link. That's 4 square synergy right there. That's pretty freaking huge. That's huge. Yeah. So
synergy is a really like. So in OOT bingo, we weight synergy really heavily, because the thing you need to remember is that most of the time, when we're playing OOT bingo, we're not playing lockout. Most of the time, we're just doing whoever gets a line fastest, and everybody's looking at the same board, and it's not lockout. And for that, we weight synergy really highly, because we want all of the rows on the board to be we have like a bot that generates the boards, and we want all the rows to be relatively similar in length, because, you know, ideally, if you play perfectly or whatever, even if you pick a row that looks kind of shitty to play, if you play it properly, it should be finishable within a few minutes of any other row. And to do this, we weight synergy really heavily. So like we time our goals. By we, I mean the gifted gamers. They time all the goals and compare them to each other to say, okay, this goal has like a decent amount of Water Temple synergy. This goal has a decent amount of Forest Temple synergy. And the bot weights those things. So it's possible. I don't know exactly how the blackout board generation works, like this lockout board, but most likely there is a little bit of synergy consideration for trying to generate some stuff that has good synergy. But for the most part, just try not to duplicate any goals, right? Like have Phantom Ganon twice or anything. But yeah, good synergy. Water Temple is incredible synergy. There's good Forest Temple synergy, which RunnerGuy has already taken advantage of. I would say those are the 2 really big ones. Other than that, it's kind of just a little all over the place. But those are the 2 huge ones.
Yeah, for goals that can be sniped, I do think, like, as Chad's asking here, there are, like, for example, like, obtain 16 different heart pieces. I feel like that's definitely a snipeable thing. Like, as we saw, Nalle is definitely, like, collecting a lot of those, but it doesn't mean that, you know, RunnerGuy can't, like, go ahead and catch up on those himself and then try and take that away and take all of that progression that Nalle's been working on. So, like, these longer distance squares, I would say also, like, open 3 boss key doors. I think is also a thing that you can kind of like work towards, and then at some point another player can just like swoop in and kind of steal that away. Whereas like more like one-offs like Din's Fire, for example, or you know, I don't know, Fire Arrows, which RunnerGuy just gets here right now. 6-2 now on the board is like things you can't really like take away as easily.
Yeah. For these really long goals, you're kind of just assuming your opponent is probably steadily chipping away at it.
Yeah.
But it's very snipeable. Like, I think Nalle, I don't remember if he picked up the heart container from King Dodongo or not. So Nalle either has 8 or 12 heart pieces, probably 8, which means he's only halfway, right? Like, RunnerGuy could easily catch up on heart pieces.
Yeah. And here we have, what's Nalle working on right now? Is he
Nalle's
working on the Silver
Gerudo
Rooms?
Training Grounds keys. Both Silver Rupee Rooms and Gerudo Training Grounds keys at the same time. He's about to get his 8th. So here's his 8th key, which means that's a goal for Nalle.
Very nice.
And also blocks column 5 and row 1. And RunnerGuy is just farming for bombs here and getting super unlucky.
So this also means, though, that, like, obviously RunnerGuy can just imagine, be like, okay, so pretty much Silver Rupees is out the window for me. Not going to be able to get that anymore. Most likely, Nalle is going to be working on that. But this is, however, still really much showcasing to him, like, okay, I can go ahead and really go for Water Temple here and, like, bank in on 4 more squares potentially, which gets him to 10.
Well, if I'm RunnerGuy, I push column 5 or row 5 right now.
Really? Okay.
If I'm RunnerGuy, I think I can close out row 5 really fast. Because I've already been Child, so I can get Din's Fire. I just need Magic.
Mm-hmm.
I was just at Water. I don't know. If I were RunnerGuy, maybe he's just not used to this playstyle because line doesn't typically win when we play Lockout and OOT. But I personally would have gone to Water while I was there, defeated Darklink and gotten the Compass, and then gone into Din's Fire because I know I have priority on going back to Child, which Nalle has not done yet. And you have to go back to Child for Din's Fire. But now Nalle is doing Water Temple himself, recognizing that row 5 threat and trying to block it. And obviously there's tons of water synergy, including a boss key door that can be opened here. So Nalle's about to do a ton of legwork here.
Well, I know sadly you can't hear it, but I do have some Zelda ambience playing in the background, and bro, bangers.
Oh yeah.
Back to frickin' back. Got
100%.
some Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time tracks. Fantastic, dude. Fantastic. Okay, so yeah. We're in Water Temple right now, right?
Yeah, we're in Water
I just
Temple.
looked
Now
away
he's
for a
doing-
second, so.
He's doing an out of bounds trick. Does he need this Skulltula? I don't think he needs to do this trick. I don't know why he's doing it. It's not necessary. Maybe just muscle memory. Oh, is 3 skulls in water here? Where is it, dude? I can't find it.
It's literally row 4, column 3.
Oh my god. I think because it's sandwiched between the 2 blue goals, I just like can't see it. Okay, 3 skulls in water. So Nalle is trying to do a clip out of bounds to get to a Skulltula here. The Skulltulas in Water Temple are kind of annoying. They're like really out of the way. And so you kind of have to be creative with how you get them. But he does, luckily, he's going to Darklink, so like he's going through a good chunk of the dungeon, so he should come across a fair few Skulltulas just fine. But he's doing a ledge clip here to get out of bounds to get to one of the Skulltulas without lowering the water. Also, chat, I do apologize for how confusing this is. I think I take for granted how much we know about OOT just because I've been playing the game for a long time. But I do recognize that there's a lot going on, and it's kind of confusing. I hope at least the broad strokes of, like, he's doing a glitch to get this goal is at least understandable.
Yeah. I think, like, with anything else, like, if it's going to be any other new... I explained this, too, where it's, like, Ocarina of Time is such an old game that there are so many, like, non-game intended skips and glitches that are happening that have been developed, whereas, like, if it's a new game, you're not going to have a lot of that because it gets developed over time. So you're pretty much, like, kind of throwing everything at the audience here that's been developed over years and years and years and years of people playing, right? So that's just like the harder part of absorbing all of that. And I think the best way to boil it down for a lot of viewers here is like a lot of skips are meant for traversal more than like acquiring a square directly. So it's a lot of like, okay, like I'm skipping this section so I can get to this goal faster. I'm doing this to get to this goal faster. Not necessarily, oh, I'm doing a skip and that gets me a goal, if that makes sense. So a lot of the skips / maneuvering that you're seeing is just more or less just like maneuver around the map as fast as possible. As Adif mentioned before, pretty much all the skips and glitches that you guys are seeing is more or less just making this an open world game that is more easily accessible by the player, more than just having it be a linear fashion. For example, Monster Hunter Wilds in low rank, it being a complete and goddamn nightmare of cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. We're pretty much skipping all of that, you know? So.
Yeah. And there are glitches that, like, cause goals to get acquired too, but we talk about those as they happen.
Yeah.
Nalle, again, out of bounds here. Because Water Temple is just, like, so traversal heavy and requires you to, like, you know, like, how do I explain this? It often requires you to move the water, like to lower it or to heighten it or whatever. That's slow and also annoying because if the water's at its highest level, which it is for most of the temple, we don't have iron boots, so we can't like sink down. So we need creative ways to get around. Luckily, there are quite a few ways to get out of bounds in this temple, and we can sort of maneuver around the water to get to other places.
Yeah. I will show the zips or glitches and skips video in between the next match, this match and the next match, by the way, as well. So for anyone that wants to learn more as we get ready for the second match after this one, I will play that video again just for people to kind of like get like a bit of a TLDR on like, okay, these are the things that can happen. These are what they look like type situation that Adif was nice enough to make for us, which was really, really nice.
I just love OOT Bingo, and I want more people to play it. We have a very welcoming community who is really, we're always excited to have new players. We actually have a tournament going on right now in the community that is specifically for rookies. So if you want to watch some people who would actually be at your skill level, there is a tournament going on right now, the Rookie Bingo Tournament, which is for people who don't play bingo, which is really cool. We haven't had one of those in many years. There's actually a match going on right now, I think. But yeah, so basically I would say, like, you know, bingo seems like a lot, and I do recognize that. There's a lot going on, there's a lot to think about, there's a lot of tricks to learn. But just like anything, you know, it just takes time. And when you start, you'll still be able to play. Even if you don't use glitches, you would still be able to do 99% of the goals on the board. You would just do them vanilla,
slower,
right? You would just play through the game slower, which is fine.
I mean, it's the same though for Elden Ring Bingo. It genuinely is. Yeah. It's the only thing is that like this audience specifically has like watched a lot of players play and practice, and then that's when they ask the questions, right? That's when they learn is during practice matches of being like, oh, like why are you doing this? Why are you constantly guarding with your sword while you're running? Why are you doing, you know, this specific fight right now? Why are we doing Ancient Dragon Man? Why are we using this Ash of War? And then, you know, all of that knowledge right now, like that people have been learning and the audience has been learning over the last 2 years, is pretty much what we're doing right now in an hour and a half. So like it's just a lot of info pretty much, you know, that's being thrown around. That's all.
Yeah, it's sort of a tough barrier to entry because this is high level play that you're witnessing as your first thing to see. Whereas like, you know, typically for Elden Ring, like you find a streamer you like, and then you just sort of watch them play and interact with them. But yeah. So RG is now doing Dins. So he's going to get another goal in row 5 here. I really think it would have been smarter to push this water temple progress before doing this child segment, because, you know, Nalle is now going to get priority on this. Because Nalle's about to do Dark Link himself and block row 5. Whereas I really think RG might have been able to close out row 5 almost, you know, pretty fast here if he'd have just done Water Temple right then. But, you know, that's another one of those things where like, okay, but I can see both game feeds.
Right, yeah. That's the other tricky part. And as you mentioned before, Ferrari's Wind is near Water Temple, so he was probably assuming that Water Temple's already contested anyways. So, like, what's the point of him, like, sinking too much time into that if he might get sniped on that? Might as well play safely and, you know, do some other things instead.
Right, and also Runner Guy might just be looking to win by majority, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe his goal is just to win by majority now because he's up by 3. He's got good board presence. He's blocked every row, so he doesn't have to worry about rows, really. Maybe his goal here is just to knock down goals. So, like, he's getting Dins here. That'll be 7. And then, you know, it'll just be whittling down the goals from there.
But it also lets Nalle know that he has all the time in the world to kind of, like, slowly clear out this Water Temple, you know?
True. Yeah, because once RG marks Dins, Nalle will know, okay, we're not racing on this.
Yeah.
What does dropping bugs and picking them up do? So dropping bugs and picking them up causes the bottled bugs to be in your hand, like you're holding a bottle that's full of bugs instead of it just being in your inventory. And this is nice because it just so happens that if you backflip and while in midair with this bottled bug in your hand, you press the bottle and then another item, you can play that other item like an ocarina without actually having an ocarina. We call it ocarina items.
Pretty cool.
It's crazy.
It's pretty neat.
And one of those, like, very convenient glitches that the game would be very different today if that glitch didn't exist.
And we should see Nalle here get his 3rd Skulltula very soon. So that's at least going to be...
Darklink will be first. He's 2 rooms from Darklink. He has 2 Skulltulas right now, and then right after Darklink, he'll get his 3rd skull.
Right, right.
So this will be 2 squares pretty quick. And Runner Guy's finally getting a fucking shield as child. It's been an hour and a half, and several times it would have been nice to have one, but you know what? We're there now, baby.
You know, it's like when someone goes for Ancient Dragon Man, like an hour in, you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
At least now you got it.
At least you did it.
At least you did it now. I think we still have to have... Wait, did I miss when Nalle did Phantom Ganon?
No, Runner Guy did Phantom Ganon.
Right, but isn't it still a requirement though to like try and get through some of the other areas of the game? Or am I insane?
I don't think he'll have to do it unless he wants to do some of the child stuff. Child stuff that's remaining. 37th Heart Piece is remaining.
Just when he wants to go back
really
to young. Just when he wants to go back to young Link. That's when he has to do it. Okay.
He's basically saying, by not doing it, he's just kind of forfeiting 37th Heart Piece right now, which is a child exclusive heart piece.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, he's fine. And he knows Runner Guy's back in time because Runner Guy just got Din's Fire. So
Right.
he's probably saying, okay, well, I'm just not going to do that. Also,
Right.
Runner Guy's heading into Deku Tree here probably for a Compass and a Skulltula. Also, Nalle still doesn't have Song of Time. He's not going to be able to play Song of Time. He doesn't have it.
Unfortunate.
Is this finally when he realizes he doesn't have it?
Yeah, that's actually despair. Yeah, being that far in and then not being able to use it is just rough.
That's so grim, dude. Yeah, okay, so he didn't know. So he has to do entrance point glitch. Dude, fuck this trick. Okay. So Nalle now has to do a thing called entrance point glitch, or EPG. This is a super niche piece of tech. Basically, he is going to equip hover boots as Link tries to go through this door. And he's going to, like, kind of go through the door, but also the previous room is still kind of open. And by getting back in that other room, that Song of Time block that's impeding his path will be gone. But he needs to do this really annoying hookshot right here. I hate this part. Maybe I'm stupid, but I don't like it.
I think
Was it
Guy's
collection
got
delay?
his compass here, by the way, as well.
Oh, he got the compass? Okay.
For Deku Tree.
Deku Tree's super fast. Oh, nice, Nalle. Okay. So that block is gone.
Nice.
Now I can drop down. It wasn't collection delay. He just never caught bugs with Odd Potion on C, right? He just forgot. And a weird shot with the long shot for this Skulltula on the wall. Very smart. That's going to be 3 skulls for Nalle. and defeat Dark Link. So he's saying, okay, RunnerGuy, I see you, but I'm back in it, baby. 7-5.
Looking really good now. Yeah, slowly catching up, like really cashing in on all those things he's been setting up in the early game. Pretty much. You should be able to try and like, I feel like bulldoze some of the other stuff that he's been setting up. Because he's still in the lead of heart pieces. He's still in the lead, I think, as well on 3 swords, tunics, boots, and shields. So,
and he's also in the lead on songs, albeit only slight. Or no, I think RG got Poacher's Saw, so maybe he's not in the lead on songs. But he's in the lead on Stalfos. He's in the lead on... Did he not open the Water Temple boss key door? Okay, that's another little mistake. He absolutely should have done that. He could, if he realizes right now, he can reset his console and he'll still be in Water Temple, because that's where he saved. But I think he forgot to open that boss key door. Now he's just making these little execution errors that are kind of just like remembering, because there's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah.
But just kind of tough here. Just some little execution mistakes. He's going to do a ground clip where he's going to enter a corner in the ground at really high speed. He's a frame early or frame late, I think, yeah. But yeah, he's going to try to do a mega flip into the ground. I do not do this setup. This is a different setup to what I do. There we go. That's the frame. Backflip.
Nice.
And we're into Zora's Domain. Very nice. Meanwhile, RunnerGuy is maybe just working on...
That is so interesting. When you're in the water, but it's frozen over, you just like pop out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, hey, you're not supposed to be down there. Get up there.
So he's going to get some heart pieces here. This is going to be a good amount of heart pieces for Nalle. He might get this goal soon. Whoa! Nearly fell.
Whoa, what's happening? That was kind of cool. Like RG was kind of like floating while hookshotting sideways.
He probably pulled hookshot while he was just falling, so it like stops your momentum. You like stop in midair and just drop.
That's pretty cool.
RG is going for Child Dungeon Skulltulas here. One of my all-time favorite OOT jokes. Truly a remarkably funny joke is RunnerGuy used to do blindfolded speedruns of Ocarina of Time. And specifically he would do a blindfolded run of beating all of the child dungeons. And the name of the category was blindfolded child dungeons. And people would always joke like, that's not a thing you should say. Oh, it's always so fucking funny to me.
Does anybody still run that category or no?
I don't think so. I don't know that anyone ever did besides just RunnerGuy.
That's pretty funny. And looks like is maybe RunnerGuy trying to catch up right now on tunics here?
Maybe, yeah. He might also be heading to Jabu, I think. Because he just collected a child Skulltula in both Deku Tree and Dodongo's Cavern, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's rushing that goal right now to just get it done, which would be good for him. It also puts him in Jabu, which is a dungeon he can beat towards that Water Temple goal, although obviously Nalle has already been to Water Temple, and RunnerGuy doesn't know if he beat the dungeon, but you'd have to presume he did, right?
Is Nalle doing the entry point for Jabu now?
He is. So they're both actually going for this at the same time, it looks like.
Very nice.
So this is the loading zone for Jabu's Belly is always here, even as adult. It's just inside of the ice. You have to do a really tricky, sort of like off the ledge jump slash here. And it looks like he got it. Sort of
nice.
Yeah, really nice. That was kind of setupless, which is really pretty.
Very, very nice.
Super difficult trick to execute. Really impressive.
All right, okay, so yeah, he's definitely ahead here.
There too.
So this would be...
I think Nalle hasn't been to Deku Tree yet. So Nalle would... I think he just realized he didn't beat Water Temple. But he will get a child Skulltula here. But he's opting to go straight for Baronade. Okay, he's just going to beat the dungeon, it looks like. Instead of getting the Skulltula. Interesting. Okay, so Well, he can't beat... Oh, no, he's just getting the Skulltula because it's fastest. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. He's just getting the skull in this room. There's a fast Skulltula in this room that he's going to get. He can't beat Baronade yet because he doesn't have the boomerang. He's going to get this skull. I think that's just 2 for him because he hasn't... I don't think he's been to Deku Tree yet.
Yeah,
so
but he can do that right now.
Yes, so RunnerGuy needs to get this Skulltula really, really quickly.
Yep, because Nalle then has a huge lead on heart pieces. He can get that Skulltula from each child dungeon, and he still I think has the lead currently on that 3 swords, tunic, boots, and shields. So he's like he's starting to clean up here.
Interestingly though, chat brought up an interesting point. Nalle has Furor's Wind, which is the item that lets you warp back to a dungeon. We rarely have it in bingo, so you might not think to use it, but he absolutely should have just used it. Because he would be able to get back to Baronade immediately.
True,
as opposed to walking all the way back and doing the glitch again to get in. But it's just not something you really think about. Also, they have the same magic value right now. I think the 2 of them have the exact same amount of magic remaining.
All right. So this might... Okay, so what RunnerGuy already... He did Dodongo's Cavern, though, as well. And he did do Deco Tree. So he might actually get this now.
He's going to get it.
Yeah, he's going to get the scope. That's nice. Okay. Huge.
Nalle missing a little skip here. He now has to do this room legit, which means killing all 4 of these Freezards.
Too legit to quit.
Too legit. Nalle's in Ice Cavern, I think, just for compasses and heart pieces right now. So he's going to get a compass, and there's also a decently quick heart piece here. And this should be 16 for him, I think. He's getting iron boots. Oh, yeah, he needs all 3 boots. True. He needs all 3 boots.
Nice snipe from RunnerGuy.
Yeah, Child Dungeon Skulltula is done for RunnerGuy. Very, very nice. The question is, does he beat Baronade now? I think probably not. He probably thinks, okay, I still have to get Boomerang. There's a lot of this dungeon to get through. And Nalle probably beat Water Temple, right? So he's assuming that he should just get out of here. Although getting Compass wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It has a little bit of synergy. He's kind of having trouble deciding what he wants to do. This is classic. You're like, oh, do I do it? Do I not do it? You just like walk around.
I've definitely been there, dude. Where it's like you just sit there for a hot second, like, okay, is this worth my time? Is it not worth my time? It is worth my time. And then you do it, and you're like, this was not worth my time.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he just said no on the song. Wait, he still can't decide what he wants to do. He's still having trouble deciding whether he wants to stay or not.
Oh, another Silver Rupee room. Yeah, actually, this is really solid.
There are 2 Silver Rupee rooms in Ice Cavern, so this is really good.
Oh,
now he's making a lot of progress on these long goals.
Has to go back up there.
RunnerGuy's going to
there we go.
Serenade. For Compass, maybe? I don't know. Nalle's actually making a lot of correct decisions here. He's pushing progress on a lot of these long goals that RunnerGuy is only sort of half deciding to do.
Oh, unfortunate. RunnerGuy not getting the slide, instead just opting to run backwards.
Yeah, sometimes when your movement gets slow, you're like, all right, screw it. Nalle did not leave Furor's Wind in Jabu, so he would have to re-enter if he wants to go back.
Is he trying to just like, yeah, he's trying
you can like touch
it.
the silver, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With a jump slash, you like sort of clip in for a second.
Isn't that kind of funny? Like, as like a developer, you're like, oh yeah, I have a crystal, and then like the players being like, yeah, let me just like touch it real quick for a moment.
Exactly. It's like hardly even a skip.
Yeah.
That's another Silver Rupee room. And now Nalle's going to do a ground jump. Thank God someone's doing one. I didn't waste my time.
Very nice. So, how many Silver Rupee rooms are in the Gerudo area? The training.
In Gerudo Training Grounds, there's actually quite a few. One of them you almost never do because it is awful. He probably did 2 in Gerudo Training Grounds, most likely.
So 2 and 2? Okay.
He did 2 there. He done 2 here.
So quite a few still left, actually. I thought he was closer to that goal than it seems.
There's a few in Shadow. Does he have glitched health? No, probably not. He didn't get frozen. He's probably fine. RG now heading to the Gerudo area. Nalle's going to do a cutscene skip here, again, where he's going to open this chest on the same frame. I think that's the right frame. Yeah, there you go. He's going to die on the same frame he opens the chest, because when you open the Iron Boots chest, a cutscene plays, and he just doesn't want to watch it. So he gets the item because it opens the chest first.
Does he get to spin?
No spinning on this one.
Aww.
We may not see another spin until the next race, to be honest.
That's unfortunate, man. The spin's funny.
I know.
Nice mega flip here, though, from RG to get into Gerudo.
Yeah, very nice. And he's getting caught, which means he might be going to Spirit, or he's going to go back for GTG. Okay, he is going up.
Oh, it looks like Nalle's going back for Jabu now, it looks like, potentially. Oh,
no, he's putting Iron Boots on to go get this heart piece down here.
How many more does he need? For 16 heart pieces, like,
this has got to be his 15th or 16th.
No, there it is. Okay, nice.
8 to 6.
Yeah, it's slowly closing out. I would say compared to like Elden Ring Bingo, OOT Bingo is definitely like a slow burn into a high race. Is what it seems like.
Yeah, very few fast rush things. It's a lot of setup.
Mm-hmm.
So Runner Guy's heading to Spirit here. Let's look at the board and see what's there. So 3 swords, tunics, boots, and shields. The mirror shield, which is the 3rd shield you need, that's at Spirit. All 4 Wasteland and Colossus area Skulltulas, that's at Spirit. Boss key doors. There's a boss key door in Spirit. There's quite a few silver rupee rooms in Spirit Temple. There's a compass. There's a song, the Requiem of Spirit. So actually quite a few things this way. Quite a lot to do. There's a Stalfos, I think, in the mirror room on the top floor.
So why did we get the... Oh, never mind. I see it now.
Or wait, is that a Dynalphos? Child side, you're right. Yeah. In the bubble room.
So it looks like that RG might be going for those all 4 Wasteland Colossus area Skulltulas. Is that what he's...
Yeah, for sure. So that one's actually really not that bad. This is a pretty quick goal. It just requires a lot of traversal to get here.
Yeah.
There is one Skulltula that's child only, so he'll have to come back here as child. But again, he knows that Nalle probably hasn't gotten access to child again. So Runner Guy has a lot of priority on any of these goals that require you to go child a second time. Because he just hasn't done it, whereas Runner Guy has. So Runner Guy is going to be able to get the Skulltulas that are lingering here, get the Requiem of Spirit, which is the warp song that brings you here, and then just go child, warp right back here, and get the 4th skull, which is going to be a goal. And frankly, Nalle probably isn't going to beat Runner Guy to 10 songs. I don't know if RG, RBA'd Odd Potion or Poacher Saw, if someone in chat could let me know. But he should be good here. He's going to go in and walk right back out, probably.
And for the sake of the viewers here, but also a little bit for me, can you re-explain real quick RBA?
Yes. So RBA, or Reverse Bottle Adventure, is a trick where you get a bottle onto your B button, which is not supposed to happen. And after you do that, it does some weird stuff to your inventory. And basically, having the bottle on your B button points to whatever item is on your C right button. And whatever those 2 things are, whatever combo of those 2 things, they multiply together and manipulate something in your inventory. So,
and it's random, or can you pick?
No, it's consistent.
Okay.
So if I catch bugs on my B button and I have a bottled Poe on C right, that manipulates how many bomb chews I have, for example. The one relevant to what we're talking about right now, if I RBA some of the quest items, like some of the side quest items, I get more songs. So without having to go around and actually get the songs, I can put songs into my inventory. So that is the quickest way to 10 songs. Also, really nice Wasteland Husk from Nalle. They're actually in the same place again, which is really crazy. But I don't know that Nalle got the Wasteland Skull. I think he skipped it. So he's conceding the back in time stuff, I think. But yeah, so RBA is just a way to like get some inventory stuff quickly.
Okay.
So if I'm RG here, I wait for it to become night. It's almost night. I would just wait, because there's 2 Skulltulas here at night that you need. And it's literally going to be night in like 2 seconds. The Requiem of Spirit cutscene sets night. Like, it sets it to right before night. Also, chat, if you're enjoying what you're watching, please subscribe to Domo. Okay, Bingo Brawlers is a big production. It requires a lot of time and effort on Domo's part, and also Jamo, who's the editor and graphic designer for Domo. Please do subscribe to Domo. Support the stream. Support the show. If you got a Prime lying around, let that baby rip.
Also, definitely check out Adif for commentary, but also check out all the players that have given their time this weekend to showcase their bingo skills for us. So go ahead, they're all in the title. Go ahead and give them a follow and check out their channels as well. They all have put a lot of time into this, so being able to showcase their skills, always a treat. So just overall, just support all around, for everyone involved.
This trick that we just watched is probably one of my all-time favorite Ocarina of Time tricks. That's called Spirit Hover. You can skip half of the Spirit Temple by hovering up the outside, because it just so happens that half this dungeon pops out outside. Also, Nalle's about to get all the full equipment goal here. Nice hover slide. Really beautiful. Picking up a ton of speed with a Hess, and then equipping hover boots to slide from one side of the hand to the other. Really, really incredible
there it is.
work. And that's a goal for Nalle. Really nice. Catching up so nicely here.
Yeah, almost tied now. We started literally the match with a 4-0 lead for RunnerGuy, and now almost tied up completely. We are learning a song here, though, with RunnerGuy, so I think he's going to be close to getting those 10 songs.
He should be really close, yeah.
Yeah, so this is definitely getting very tight very quickly.
Yeah, RunnerGuy looked surprised. Do you see that? When Nalle marked that, RunnerGuy was like, oh, wow. So I'm curious what RunnerGuy thought Nalle was doing. Because I guess Nalle hadn't given a ton of info since Water Temple.
I think he just didn't expect so much prep.
You know what he probably expected? He probably thought that Nalle was doing Defeat Jabu Jabu's Belly and Water Temple. I think that's what he thought Nalle was doing. Because that's why RunnerGuy left Jabu. When he was walking around Jabu, unsure if he should leave or stay, I think that's what he was deliberating. He was like, oh, well, there's no way he's not just beating Jabu here. Also, does RG have 10? Does he have Song of Time? I don't think he RBA'd Poacher Saw or Odd Potion unless he did. In which case, he should be marking. He might just forget. Or he's going to check. 3 plus 6. He has 9. He has 9 songs. He didn't get Storms yet.
Interesting.
Okay, he's getting his 10th here, and then he'll have another goal, 10 songs.
So it'll be 9-7 then. Still really close, though, especially with like how much advantage Nalle has on some of these squares.
Okay, but also look at column 2. Okay, RunnerGuy's about to have 3 goals in column 2, and he can get Wasteland Colossus skulls, and Nalle has accepted not getting that because he hasn't gone Child yet. Right. So that means if RunnerGuy can somehow beat Nalle to Silver Rupee rooms, which is going to be tough, but possible, then he could do it. Row 3 is also open to him. Or no, it's not, because RunnerGuy got Silver Scale.
Yeah, so he can't RBA, do Blue Gauntlets.
He can't do Blue Gauntlets.
So yeah, Silver Rupee rooms would be his best bet.
Nalle needs to do Silver Rupee rooms right now, because otherwise he's screwed.
What happens if they tie? There shouldn't be a tie possible. Hopefully.
If they somehow tie, we're going to play until somebody gets a goal. If there are no goals available to any players, whoever marked their goal first wins.
And this is why we were worried about this in Elden Ring bingo, by the way, like locking too many lockout type squares of being too risky of, not having a playable board.
Oh, wait, we're playing to 12. I just realized both of our players have locked themselves out of Blue Gauntlets, I think. Can Nalle get it if... Can he go back down to Kajiro with Child Mushroom? Is that possible, Garg?
Yes.
Oh, you need pre-Kajiro, right? You need Pocket Cucco. Okay, so Nalle and RunnerGuy are both locked out of blue gauntlets.
All right, let me go ahead and just mark that then with a star so that we know that that one's just completely just out.
Yeah, so we're playing to 12 here. Both of our players, even though I told them not to do this, they have locked themselves out of this. I said, and I quote, please don't lock yourself out of goals if you can avoid it. They did not avoid it. That's okay. My fault in picking the board, I suppose.
I'm assuming it's also like just for efficiency's sake. They don't want to like...
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's a super long, annoying goal.
Yeah.
Also, another thing is I only re-rolled the board once, saw this, and was like, that's fine. But I'll look more diligently for the next one.
All good. All good.
Yeah,
we are nearing the 2-hour mark here. For anyone at home, by the way, that is wondering, damn, 2 hours? Yes, that's the around 2:15 to 2:30 has been given to me as like the average time-ish for Ocarina of Time bingo. I know you guys are used to like 2-hour timers for Elden Ring bingo, just because there's a lot of setup early on in the game for Ocarina of Time, so it's just a little bit longer, as like a time reference time frame for you. Oh, we're vibing with Zora's Domain right now.
That's my favorite Zelda song.
Really? Of all time?
All time, I'll play it right now for myself.
I have to say, honestly, after hearing today's, which I have maybe heard like only once before, I think it was the Deku Temple from Majora's Mask. That's kind of the palace.
Oh, Deku Palace?
Yeah, that's kind of a banger.
The like,
kind of like that.
It's a banger.
It's a banger. Especially when I sing it.
Oh, well, yeah, dude.
Obviously.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. So we got those 10 songs, by the way, from RunnerGuy. Now I'm assuming he's going to finish first the Skulltulas.
Although, yes, like, that's why he came back child. So he's just going to do that goal right now. Put some pressure on Nalle. Although Nalle is cleaning up Silver Rupee rooms right now. So RunnerGuy does not, frankly, really have a chance.
Yeah. But since we're playing to 12, after Wasteland Skulltulas, he just has to go for 2 more. He can go for compasses here into possibly, I want to say, Jabu Water Temple or just boss key doors. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll also have to tell RunnerGuy. If RunnerGuy hits 12 first, we'll have to tell him that he won. Because he doesn't know Nalle is locked out of blue gauntlets. But Nalle knows that RunnerGuy is because of the way the goals were marked.
Right.
He's going to get 37th Heart Piece probably, which is a child goal that's not far from here. So there's Wasteland Skulls. That's 10 for RunnerGuy. That's 10 goals for RG. Domo, if you wouldn't mind updating the blue count to 10.
Oh! Sorry, I was busy thinking about a question. Interesting.
Okay, he's not going for 37. Okay, so he needs 2 more goals.
The
question
I'm thinking
is,
compasses is next. It has to be.
Well, Nalle's got some dungeon priority. I think boss key doors could be good. RunnerGuy knows he has 37th Heart Piece on lock if he needs it. Because Nalle hasn't done anything in second child segment. So RunnerGuy has 1 goal basically for free. I might just call the long ball and do Fire Temple. Because if I go for Fire... Yeah, and it looks like maybe that's what he's doing. If he just does free all 9 Gorons and Fire Temple, he's not really contested on that. And he's forcing Nalle to do Silver Rupee rooms, right? Nalle has no choice but to do Silver Rupee rooms right now. So yeah, RunnerGuy's just going for Gorons here. Super free, easy 11th goal.
How long does that take, by the way?
This is a long one. This is like probably 8 minutes.
Damn.
maybe. I don't know. Maybe not that long. I'm not sure. He's doing RBA for something. Maybe... I don't know what. A bottle?
A bottle?
A bottle?
Bottle of bugs?
A bit of bottle on my bit of bottle. Okay, he's also going for maybe boss keys here?
Yeah, you could do both, actually. Yeah, true.
Oh, he has fire arrows. He has fire arrows. Okay, much like RBAing the ice arrows gives you water temple boss key, RBAing the fire arrows gives you fire temple boss key. So he actually has huge priority on boss keys right now. I didn't even think of this because this situation almost never comes up. Really smart. The way to think about it is ice arrows are blue and they give you the blue temple boss key. Fire arrows are red. They give you the red temple boss key. And the light arrows, they're yellow. They give you the spirit temple, the yellowish temple.
Well, hell yeah.
That's just pure happenstance that the memory values line up like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's just for swag.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't do anything.
It looks really cool. Watch me drift this flamethrower.
Okay, so now he's gonna open this boss key door. So that'll be one, and then he'll probably go... He is also freeing Gorons. Okay, so he's aiming to just get 2 goals here, I guess.
So yeah, he's going for boss key doors and just Gorons, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's splitting his progress a bit. But Nalle is also doing boss key doors right now.
He could also compass at the same time. He's like working towards all 3 technically here.
He's got it going on. So there's a boss key door. He is now going to... Typically, you can't play an ocarina in a boss room. It's not allowed. The item is like grayed out. But with ocarina items, anything is possible.
Yeah, I think I saw a video that like with I think you were talking about this in your video as well. Like I think with ocarina items, you can just go to the end of the game with a bottle anyways, right? Is that kind of like how that works?
Yeah, so the fastest way to beat the game for a long time was the famous Ganon door, the wrong warp from Deku Tree to Ganon's castle, and that's done with ocarina items.
Oh, he's back at Water Temple here. Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna clip into Water Temple to open this boss key door. And then honestly, he should just beat Water Temple. Like, I don't know. We've seen in Elden Ring Bingo that like splitting progress when you're ahead is really powerful. Like splitting map progress and seeing what your opponent does is like super strong.
Yeah.
Yo, let's go Boomer Lakeside Lab clip. Let's go. That's the setup I use too. That's the old boy setup.
All right, and so now if he didn't clear Jabu yet though.
No, but he knows Nalle didn't either because he would have marked it. Nalle went for equipment instead of clearing the 2 dungeons, which is what RunnerGuy was so confused about.
Right.
And so I think he knows he can go for this. He might still not go for it because, again, he's just splitting progress here. But yes, okay. RunnerGuy's into Water Temple. He's going to open this. Oh, Nalle. Bro, I do not trust this trick. People be going for this trick these days where they walk onto that little ledge in Shadow Temple. I am not about that. I'm jumping down, bro. I'm jumping down all day.
Nalle not switching to his normal boots for a second, hovers into the axe.
All right, so we're going to see RG open this boss key door here.
I think that's kind of hilarious, to be honest.
Water Temple, maybe he doesn't. I'm not sure.
Either way, that's a boss key door, though.
That's 2. Okay, he is not. He's just going to play Ocarina and get out of here, I think.
Yep. Okay. Makes sense. Just get the boss key door, get the hell out.
The question is, what does he do third? Shadow's not terrible. Forest Temple's pretty bad. Ganon's Castle is not bad. That's a good option, actually. Ganon's Castle is really not bad. There's a lot of Silver Rupee rooms in Stalfos there, too, although he's not pushing that. Ganon's Castle's pretty quick, and he is warping here, so it looks like maybe that is what he's doing.
This is
Ganon's
Nalle's, I
Castle-
believe, like 5th or 6th silver rupee room here as well. So he is kind of like pushing for that a little bit here.
Yeah, probably number 6 there. I mean, he has to, right? He has no
Yeah.
choice. As far as he knows, RunnerGuy is planning on winning right now. And Nalle has to get this goal eventually anyway, because you have to block all possible lines to win. Don't know why. It looked like he intentionally voided out there. Why is he backflipping so far into the chain? He's going to drink his Poe here. This is an intended mechanic, but it is a bit of a, like, Easter egg. If you drink the ghost and you have low health, it gives you hearts. If you have high health, it has a chance to take hearts away from you. He's so far in.
Are we doing a mega flip here? Oh no, we're hovering over. Okay.
So RunnerGuy is hovering because there's a rainbow bridge that gives you access to Ganon's castle.
Right.
And the bridge is only open once you've like beaten the adult dungeons.
Right.
So he needs to cross this gap because the dungeon is open. The bridge just isn't there.
Right.
So he needs to do probably about 8 or 9 of these chew backflips. These bomb chew hovers.
Mega
This
flipping is not
specifically-
enough, I'm assuming.
No, not unfortunately, not even close. It'd be super convenient if it were.
Yeah.
There are a few different ways to get to Ganon's castle as adult. They all kind of suck. This one sucks the least, in my opinion. So this will be the 3rd boss key door. And then, yeah, if you're RG, maybe you just do the child heart piece. Again, I'm not sure he's 100% confident that 12 wins right now. And I will jump in and tell him.
In the voice, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I don't think he knows. Because it is certainly possible that Nalle just kept Pocket Cucco this whole time and got legit bombs. It's possible.
Yeah.
Whereas Nalle knows they're competing for 12.
And here we're not doing ISG as well, Infinite Sword Glitch. We're just fighting normally.
Yeah, I think
lizards?
this is another case. This is another enemy that likes to move around when you swing your sword. And since ISG is constantly swinging your sword,
Right.
it's not super useful. And also, just in general, if the fight is kind of quick, you probably don't use ISG most of the time. Because you have to read a text box and you can't like move as quickly. It's just better to not get it sometimes. So here's the boss key.
Yeah, we
Again,
should
this is
we should
another
let RunnerGuy play it out because he might be able to snipe actually one of Nalle's squares away and still hit 13.
That's true. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, let it play out. Just see what happens. Because honestly, if anything, he can go for a 37th heart piece, open 3 boss key doors, and then 7 encumbrances, and that's still 13.
Yeah, the Gorons as well. That'll get
Yeah.
him to 13.
Like
I'm fine with that.
he's in position for 13, so we might as well just leave it to 13.
Nalle might forfeit at RunnerGuy's 12. Nah, I don't think he's going to do that. He could. In which case, I guess we just call it.
Is forfeiting normal?
Unfortunately, yes. I have forfeit many Ocarina of Time bingo races in my day. In a 1v1, in a showcase, I personally wouldn't forfeit. I think Nalle might be confused why it's not over. Like, you know, when RunnerGuy marks his 12th, Nalle might be kind of confused why it's not just over. So that's 3 boss keys. That's 11 squares.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the number's a little off center now. Damn it. There we go.
Boom.
Boom. I like to give this run 3 big booms. Boom, boom, boom.
We're bingo guys.
Yeah, back at Fire Temple now. Yeah, I think he's going for the Gorons now at this point, I guess.
Yeah. And then maybe finish on Child Heart pieces. Because RunnerGuy just doesn't know. Which, fair enough. Why would he?
Yeah.
Like, yes, he can assume, but you know what they say about assuming.
And also, again, like, even if he does get the Gorons here in the Fire Temple, he still has priority on 37th heart piece anyways.
Yeah.
So he's going to get 13 regardless.
Yep. What do they say about assuming? If you
Wouldn't you like to know?
You'll never know. Okay,
it makes an ass. That's it.
RunnerGuy needs fairies because he doesn't have the Goron tunic. And so he needs fairies because otherwise he will die from the heat timer.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to have to play this fire temple pretty carefully because the amount of time you have in lava-filled rooms, like these hot rooms, you get 8 seconds per your maximum hearts. So he has 3 hearts, so he has 24 seconds. That's not a lot of time. Some of these rooms are huge.
Yeah.
So he needs fairies. We'll have to see how he manages it. Nalle, meanwhile, making his way through Spirit Temple.
I think he's still focusing on the silver rupees. So like, Argis has so much time. He has so much time.
Yeah, he's doing Stalfos and silver rupee rooms here. But RG's totally chilling.
Yep.
Why did Nalle... I guess just misinput. And he does have to do the silver rupee rooms. Like, you know. Yeah, I was asking why he unloaded the room. I guess maybe it's faster to go a little riskier, but I just hold left and hit the left side of the crawl space. And then
it is kind of nice that you at least reset the timer in the fire temple by just going into the rescue rooms.
Yes, if you go into a room that does not have a heat timer, it resets your heat timer.
Which is
but
super
if
nice.
If you go from a room with a heat timer into another room with a heat timer,
it just
you
continues.
Stay with however much time you had.
Yeah. Speed, we're trying our best to make it as immersive / understanding as possible for everyone. Obviously, honestly, if anything, if you guys have questions that I haven't asked it, because I've been asking a lot here, just throw it at us. It's okay. It's completely okay. You know?
I and other bingo knowledgeable folks in the chat will help.
Yeah, 100%. I know it looks like a lot. If you've never played the game, or if whoa, that was cool. Or if there's like things happening that you haven't seen before, most likely I haven't seen it either. You know what I mean?
Dude, I might cancel my rehearsal today. This shit is another one of these. My voice is gonna be gone.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine. You can clip through that bridge? Yeah, so the bridge is a movable object, right? It can fall. So it's like not part of the greater wall, so it isn't like perfectly aligned to the ground. And if you're able to grab that ledge, which is possible with hover boots, you can pop right through it. Nalle is weird shotting.
To my understanding, all glitches are allowed that don't like make you just finish the game or like
the way I say it is most glitches are allowed.
Yeah.
Oh, Longshot reaches the climbable wall. Interesting. Yeah, SRM is banned. Ace is banned. A lot of version exclusive tricks like Hold R, those are banned.
How often would you say that nowadays people find something new for Ocarina?
Somehow frequently.
Really?
This game is the gift that keeps on giving. It's unbelievable. These days, most new stuff is an application of something else we already know.
Yeah, just somewhere else.
Yeah, but occasionally new stuff will just flatly be found, which is crazy.
So that was kind of the case with Elden Ring too, right? Where like when Elden Ring first came out, there was a thing which was in order to skip or in order to AI break Godskin Noble, all you had to do was enter the fog wall from the furthest point possible, and the AI technically wouldn't trigger because it didn't register that you actually went through the fog wall. And then that was later than used in Dark Souls 3 then as well for Eldritch.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that they didn't do that until after the Godskin Noble thing. Like, oh shit, we can like enter from very far away and it doesn't, it messes with the AI. Let's go back and do that. And it's interesting how that kind of works out. Like, oh, possibly same engine, same oopsie poopsie in a different game.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Chad is saying Nalle might already have 8 silvers and just miscounted, but he's about to get another one. So he'll have 9 because he did 2 in Shadow, or actually 3 in Shadow, 2 in Ice Cavern. That's 5. 2 in GTG. That's 7, and 1 in Spirit. Yeah, he already has 8, but he's about to do a 9th, and you know what? That's okay. RG's not contesting it anyway. It's fine.
RG's not contesting it. We don't have refs in place. What do you want us to do? You know what I mean?
Nalle, you're canceled. You're done. RG's realizing he doesn't have another fairy. I don't know what the plan is for this room.
Oh no, the fire. Run, please.
Or is 1 fairy all you need? I thought you needed 2 fairies if you have 3 hearts to get through fire. Or is that for Volvagia specifically?
Last Silver Rupee room should be marked here. There it is. 8
Very
squares
nice.
now for Nalle. I do have to say, whenever I hear or see Nalle's name, I have to think of Mr. Worldwide.
Nalle.
Nalle!
It's worldwide.
Oh, man. Nalle.
RG will have freed 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 of the 9 Gorons by now. So there's 2 left.
So he's
1,
really, really close.
Yeah, he is 1. He needs the hammer for the final 2. So he's going up to get the hammer right now, and then there's just 2 left.
What is Nalle going for here at this point?
So what's left?
Is he going for Stalfos's?
Maybe. He has quite a few. He might also be doing compasses. Stalfos and yeah, he's going to Forest. So Forest is definitely a Stalfos play, and he can get a compass along the way as well. Dude, Zora's Domain music. Goated!
It's definitely like a... It's not exactly the same like vibe per se, but it gives me like jazz club type.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You should play the New Wave Bossa Nova. That's a Majora's Mask song that's very similar and is jazzy.
Mm.
Nalle doing a minuet cutscene skip here. We get to look up a really fun angle towards Link. All right, runner guy heading down here onto the wrong side. Classic, bro.
Is the if I remember the name correctly, is the Megaton hammer, is that useful anywhere outside of Fire Temple, or is that just like a dungeon exclusive kind of utility?
It has a few uses. It has some utility you wouldn't think of in casual play that it can do. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, it's really just a Fire Temple item. There is stuff in Spirit Temple that requires the hammer, and there's stuff in Ganon's Castle that requires the hammer. But yeah, I mean, as far as the dungeon items go, it definitely sees the less like that and Mirror Shield don't see much utility outside of their own dungeon.
Yeah. Which is a shame.
Yeah. It's good for breaking rocks. That's true. But yeah, the hammer's really cool. I like the hammer.
Yeah, it is really neat. Would be cool if there was like more use for it.
It doesn't have none. Like, there is stuff, but, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also... Sometimes it's hard to remember this game is, like, 25 years old. 26 years old.
Could you? Actually, no, there's probably no way. But it would be funny if you could like ISG the Megaton hammer, just have like a shockwave next to your feet the whole time, just like walking around.
So you can actually ISG with the hammer, but it just acts like a sword.
Aww.
Although when you power crouch stab, which is that thing where you store the damage value from your last attack,
yeah,
you also store the properties of your last attack. So like hammer breaks rocks, right?
yeah.
So if I get ISG after using a hammer swing, my sword can now break rocks every frame.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Or like you can use ISG to like light torches with a lit Deku stick, for example.
This should be his last Goron, I believe.
Yes, that is 9.
Yep, there it is.
Which means now he's just going to do something else to finish the game.
Which I'm assuming is going to be, he's going to do the good old Ocarina. Go back and go Child Link.
I think so. That's what I would do. We're going to 13 Garg because RunnerGuy has no reason to know that Nalle can't get 13.
And there's enough space on the board for him to get 13 as well. So
and we have time.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So what do you think? Actually, I'll hold on to this question for the interview process. What do you think is like, how do you feel about like TOTK and Breath of the Wild's bingo?
I think they're cool. I don't particularly like playing them very much. Because for me, I mean, actually, okay, I like Breath of the Wild.
It seems very
bingo
different.
Tears of the Kingdom bingo is like more about game knowledge, and less like for me, bingo is really cool on like the execution of glitches and tricks. And for Elden Ring, bingo is really cool for me on like boss kills.
Yeah.
And Tears of the Kingdom doesn't really have that. Breath of the Wild does. There's lots of glitches you can do in Breath of the Wild. And Tears of the Kingdom has glitches and skips too. But TOTK bingo doesn't really speak to me for some reason. Now they're doing a trick called Jungle Jump, which is our name for this trick because we're in the Forest Temple, where you jump up through the floor, up to the second floor of Forest Temple. Super useful. Skips like half the dungeon. I don't know how much time it actually saves.
Dude, when I got...
No way? Nalle setting FW? No way.
When I got Din's Fire, when I played this game for the first time as a kid, I spammed that shit. I thought it was the coolest thing on the planet of just using Din's Fire over and over again for everything.
Dude, oh, yeah. I mean, that's how I beat Dark Link as a child.
Yeah. It just looked so cool, him doing like the whole animation into the explosion and everything.
Oh, yeah,
know?
the slam down and then the fire.
Yeah. And then you run out of magic, you're like, man. Shit. Oh, we do have 10 Stalfoses now from Nalle. So that's 1, 2, 3,
Very
4,
nice.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Boom.
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 Two booms.
Two booms
Let's
for
go,
10
Nalle.
Stalfos. Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. Dude, after how big of a landslide it seemed like in the early game, Nalle has really pulled back here, which is nice.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to message Gargan.
If it wasn't for, I think like some of the execution errors / also not having Ferora's Wind for Jabu, I feel like he could have definitely have brought it back into like his own territory. But,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think RunnerGuy is really close here to his 37th heart piece and closing out the match.
This is a weird goal. Hang on one second.
Nah, you good? Nice.
Okay, so there are 36 heart pieces in Ocarina of Time. But for some reason, there is a 37th unintended heart piece that is in an area you're not supposed to go as child. So you're not supposed to go where RunnerGuy is going right now. This fortress is not supposed to be accessible as child, but it is. And so for some reason, there is a heart piece up on this ledge. There's actually quite a few things weird about this place as child, because you truly just aren't supposed to be here. But there's like this weird heart piece up on this ledge. And it's a little hard to get to, but it is possible to get to it. And so you can technically get 37 heart pieces in OOT. It's very silly. And for a long time, this was like, OMG, like there's a 37th heart piece in OOT. Like, whoa, that's crazy.
And now we see that Phantom Ganon, by the way, from Nolly right now, because he has to go back as a child to try and maybe get that 37th heart piece. Is that what he's aiming for potentially here? Would be my guess.
Yeah, probably.
Going lining up that skip here. Nice.
Yeah, this one is really annoying. That jump sucks. Okay, 2 more mega flips, and then he's in. So there's a mega flip to cross this first gap after the vines, and then there's a second mega flip which takes him out of bounds.
That's right on point, actually.
Okay, so RunnerGuy is going to get ISG here. He's going to put his sword away, and he's going to get on the left side, back walk, or just walk forward until Link's head starts to disappear. He's like getting right into this corner. He's going to turn, and he's looking for, I think, 9th blue or 9th red flash. 7. N64 pause buffering, LMAO. That's... Oh, wow. Just on that frame, okay. I think I miscounted.
Do you just like hard spam, I'm assuming, the menu button?
Oh, he didn't get a mega flip! At least he voids out. That's not terrible. No. So when you're pause buffering, you're pausing the times. Or you're timing the pauses, pardon me. But then for the actual backflip, when you unpause Ocarina of Time, any button that you put in during unpause lag comes out first frame, first possible frame. So like when you unpause the game, there's like a third of a second of nothing happening where the game is like starting again. And if you hold a button during that startup time, then that button comes out frame 1. So you don't have to mash, you can just hold the button.
Oh, he didn't do the skip cutscene, I think? Oh, he did. No, he did. Never mind.
Oh, you're going to get to see him spin around.
Let's go! You little bit of weenie spin.
Okay, so RunnerGuy needs to get ISG off this chest now. And he's also going to get this mushroom that's not supposed to be here. Okay, he does have ISG. That's good.
Oh.
Okay, now I screwed up the cutscene skip. Has to watch the cutscene.
Yeah, I was going to say, did he goof?
Okay, RunnerGuy's looking for 5, 6, 7. It's 8th red, 8th blue. I think it's 9th red you need, if memory serves.
Memory serving?
That's just one of those like hard knowledge checks. That should be it.
There, nice.
Beautiful. And this will be GG's for RunnerGuy, 13-9, making it to our finals match, which is tomorrow. GG's to RG.
Very nice. GG's, man. GG's. Hell yeah. That was awesome.
Well done. Well done. Okay, well, I guess I'll go see if the players are ready for...
Yeah, a quick interview. Quick, like 2-3 minutes. Nothing crazy. We'll go ahead. We'll talk to the players for a little bit. A smidge. A pinch. A cinch.
I just asked if they're okay with the 2-minute post-game interview. We don't have the Elden Ring nonsense of the players saying yes before I ask.
Yeah, dude.
I know it bothers you.
Oh my god, it tilts the fucking shit out of me, dude.
Now I said he needs a couple minutes, so if RG said he's down, so we can pull RG in first.
All right, sounds good. Let's pull him in. All right. Welcome in, RG. Welcome in, dude. Congrats, man. Congrats.
GG's, dude. GG's on making it to our finals day.
I'm still.
Oh.
There we go. Unmute. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. First off, going into this match versus Nalle, was there any like mental prep that you're doing? Anything specific that you were expecting to see happening on this board from him or from yourself?
From myself, just try and make as little mistakes as possible. From Nalle, I know Nalle's a very technical player. Does a lot of like all dungeon speedruns. Very quick, very efficient. Probably more efficient than me. So if I had any type of strategy, it was like try and do some goofy route or like get some squares that makes him double like pause and think a little bit. The more thinking or like the more pressure I can put on him, I think the more likely I was to win. So that was kind of my strategy.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of early game that you grabbed. You know, Phantom Ganon, Minuet of Forest, the Skull Kid combo that we saw. And blocking out every single bingo, by the way, on top of that, which was huge.
Was that something you were conscious of? Because the minimum number of goals you can possibly do to block all possible bingos is 5.
Yeah.
But you have to do a very specific set of 5 squares to do that. Were you aware that you did the perfect minimum?
I was not really thinking about it until after Minuet. Like I got the first 3 and I saw, I nailed 3 different rows and columns. Minuet was leading me to Phantom Ganon kind of anyway. And then I probably rushed scale earlier than I had to, but I kind of wanted to just, like you said, lock that out and not have to worry about any row pressure at all. So
it had to have made it less of a mental game for you. Because
definitely.
then you didn't have to worry about it at all.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about a sneaky, like, he's got 3 now. Like, those 2 are going to be troublesome. So I kind of just was able to put that out of my mind. So I didn't really like revealing. I immediately went back in time. Like, here I am getting the silver scale, but it ended up being worth it for me, I think.
Nice. Also, I think Nalle is back.
Yeah, I just brought him in, actually. I just brought him in.
GG's, Nalle. GG's, dude.
GG's, man. I asked this question for RG, but I'm gonna ask you this as well. Was there any mental prep that went into this match today? Like anything specific that, since you knew you were going up against RunnerGuy, anything specific that you're looking out for, or anything that you were like on the board being like, okay, I'm gonna like let him do these squares because I know he might be like prioritizing those. Like any type of mental prep in that regard.
In that regard, I generally I don't know how much Adif touched upon that, but I come from like a more traditional speedrunning in terms of like I do all dungeons mainly. So anything that starts out with that sort of setup, which involves just the adult trade quest sequence, I typically feel very, very comfortable doing fast and well. So when I stick to doing that at the start, every bingo or every lockout, I typically do well for myself. And today I, for some reason, forgoed my rule of thumb that I always follow every single bingo, every single lockout, and tried to do something funky, and I overcook my route. And I put myself behind and give 4 very good squares to RG, 2 of which I was kind of banking on getting, but it ended up not being that way.
Yeah, there was. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Domo.
I was gonna say there was an attempt at trying to get a early Skull Kid square that we saw with the ISG on the on the stick.
I swear you can do that without needing Song or.
You can, but you have to use / extension. I think.
You have to use / extension.
I think you have to do / extension if you don't have Saria's song to get the Skull Kid to stay in place. Also, we do have one more match after this, chat, just so people don't bounce immediately. We've got another match.
We have one more. Yeah.
It's one more match.
Both of you locked yourselves out of blue gauntlets in different ways.
Different ways.
Yeah, because basically RG got silver scale, so he can't get blue gauntlets because
yeah.
But Nalle just traded past it. Also, Nalle, when did you realize you didn't have Song of Time? Was it when you played it in Water Temple?
Literally when I played it in Water Temple.
Right when you traded the odd potion away. Like as soon as you traded the odd potion, we were like, "Oh no."
Oh man.
Because I didn't even. It was so far out of my head.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot going on.
The usual issue I have in the lockouts I've done is back in time is usually very, very powerful.
Right.
And you usually end up doing trade quests or so anyway, and you RBA the stones and whatnot for Song of Time due to other goals. And when you go back in time, the drawbridge is up, so you get like the Ocarina of Time cutscene if you're not very careful.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm not gonna have that happen to me today, so I'm gonna drop an odd potion. And then I did not think of any of the other possible consequences of doing that, which.
That happens with bingo. It's like you cook too many things at once. Like you're thinking too many steps ahead, and you forget the next step. That definitely happens. RG, I've got one final question for you.
Sure.
You know, for tomorrow, obviously now you're playing in the finals tomorrow. Do you have a player you'd rather see in the finals? Are you worried or not worried about either of them? What do you think about this upcoming match between Garg and Triforce?
Oh, I am very worried about both of them. So I'm going to watch it and try and take some notes. But yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup tomorrow, no matter who it is. So
yeah.
One last question for me as well here for Runner Guy. There was a very strong reaction to Nalle marking 3 swords, tunics, boots, and shields. Was that?
Oh, yeah.
Because you weren't really expecting that?
No.
Was like a whole different strategy they were expecting from Nalle because maybe the whole Water Temple synergy that was on the board?
No, for me, that was... I assumed that for him to click that square, it was probably Mirror Shield last. Like, he had been in a lot of the other areas. I don't know if that was true, Nalle, or not, if that was Mirror Shield.
Oh, I had been everywhere like 7 times. So
I thought it could be Mirror Shield, and then he jumps down and gets Requiem as his 10th song before, and I was going for the last song there too. So I was afraid I had just put the effort into the songs and I was going to lose that. So that was my
that was the plan.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, it wasn't the square itself. It was the implications of where he went.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough. Well, that's all I have. Adif, do you have any other questions for you?
No, GG's to both of you. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Just very cool.
Yeah, thanks so much for showcasing your skills. And please chat. Go ahead and follow RunnerGuy2489 and Nallesounds. Please go check out their content. That'd be amazing. Both of them really showcasing what they do. I think it's really, really sick. And thanks so much for playing today, guys. And looking forward to seeing you tomorrow playing the finals, RunnerGuy.
All right. I'll be tuning in for this next match for sure.
Yeah.
RunnerGuy, you have to win now. All of my honor is on you.
The pressure.
And we'll go on a quick break here, guys. We're going to showcase Adif's skips and glitch video again for anybody at home that does not know exactly how Ocarina of Time Bingo works or like all the things that are happening. And we'll be right back after that break to go into the match of Triforce versus Gargs. All right. See you guys in a bit. Thanks so much.